Come on, everybody. Here we go!
You're mad.
Thank goodness for that, because if I wasn't, this would probably never work.
No offense, but I don't play well with others. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that away. What are you? Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Time travel commencing in T-minus 10 seconds and counting.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Welcome to the Disney Guys Uncensored, where we explore a lot more than just theme parks. This is episode 124, recorded on August 23rd, 2021. We're your hosts, Drew, Bob, and Tim. On today's episode, we unpack a ton of recent news, and we take a deep dive look at Disney Genie service. We'll explore the pros and the cons of this new offering, and take a look at whether this is a worthy successor to FastPass Plus. So hang on to those hats and glasses, because this here is the wildest podcast in the wilderness.
And as always, this episode is sponsored by Wish Upon Magic, an Etsy experience specializing in stickers, keychains, Mickey ears, and handmade home goods, where a portion of every purchase goes to the Make-A-Wish Foundation to help spread that magic around. Mention the Disney Guys Uncensored in the notes section before checkout and get a magical freebie. Wish Upon Magic, your place for fluffy handmade items. They got some great Halloween pillows coming up. In addition to they have an awesome Tiana's Place restaurant poster sticker. If you had heard the news this week, we're going to be talking about it a little bit about that Splash Mountain re-theme. And if you're nostalgic for the days before FastPass Plus, they have a real cool retro admission ticket sticker with a nice flower motif, real vintage looking. So check that out and make sure you mention the Disney Guys Uncensored at checkout, whether that's on Etsy, their website, www.wishuponmagic.com, where you can find magical new selections every week. And also, as always, this episode was made possible by you, the listeners, over at patreon.com. Please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/The Disney Guys Uncensored for more information. A little bit less than a cup of coffee a month to help us keep on doing this, improve the show, do some great giveaways for you, and keep making things better and better for you guys around here. And with that, we will bring back a old fan favorite segment, BuzzTube.
Hey, Gord! Gord!
If I can just find...
Gord! Oh, there you are.
Gord, you crazy bastard. He's been ravaging the continent, the world, the galaxy, looking for more snake oil, Bob. And came back with a few barrels already sold out, as usual. Not surprised.
No, it's one of the great salesmen of our generation.
BuzzTube is a fan favorite. I'm so glad it's back. I mean, it's a great bumper. We got Gord. He's made it onto the Ohana tonight. And we had to bring it back, folks, because we have so many things going on in the dark web of the Ohana. And the first thing we need to talk about is the giveaways.
I don't think you know what that means, Drew.
Well, it depends where you look.
I don't know that it does.
Yeah. Do not have, for the record, we do not have an Ohana in the dark web. Facebook exclusively. Okay. Also on the Discord, not on the dark web.
Hey, Discord.
Some would say that our Snapchat was on the dark web.
That didn't last too long. We got banned, in a way.
No, that was TikTok. Where
TikTok.
They took us off TikTok for using licensed content when TikTok first came out.
Does this mean being in OnlyFans out there banning porn?
But that's, let's not get there, folks. But Discord is free. If you want to come hang out with us and listen to us talk about these things every day, head over to Discord. It's free. Oh, you know what? I'm going to post a link on this this week so you guys can remind yourselves to come join. But giveaways, that's right. We've been doing a few giveaways, right? We had a few guests lately. We have some more guests coming up. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we had Timmy Britt coming on a few weeks ago, the Disney, former Disney Imagineer, as well as Universal. And he has this amazing book. He tells some amazing stories, and we decided to do a little giveaway of his book, which is autographed by Timmy himself. And the winner of this amazing book goes to Mary from the Ohana. Mary has been a long-time listener. She's entered many contests, but have yet won. And this is her first win. It's like the Oscar, several nominations, several entries, first-time winner.
So it's a Lifetime Achievement Award for staying with us for 125 episodes.
24, but I'm very happy about maybe getting to 125. Yeah, so Mary, we will get you that book. We'll ship it over to you, and we'll get it to you. We'll let you know, keep you updated. Now, the second giveaway we had to do, we had Scott Durbin on from the amazing Imagination Movers. And let me just tell you, folks, if you forgot, which I can't imagine you did, Imagination Movers' new album, Happy, drops this Friday, August 27th. I know I have mine pre-ordered. If you don't, go over to Bandcamp, pre-order it. It's $7. The other cool thing about Bandcamp is you can give as much money as you want. If you want to give $10 or $20, it all goes directly to the Imagination Movers, who could really use your help during this time. But anyways,
Drew instant fact check. The album is called Happy to Be Here. The lead single was Happy.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. That's why you're here. Fact check.
I'm here.
That's one. Count that, because there'll be several fact checks tonight, folks. It's going to be a long, fun episode.
A lot of facts tonight, listener. So if you listen to the Disney Guys Uncensored for the facts, a lot of those tonight to make up for the real lack of facts we've had lately.
But let's not mix the facts with our opinions, because there'll be plenty of those following up those facts, Tim. That is a fact.
Sure. All right, let's get to the giveaway of the Movers' new EP.
Yes. Now, the winner of Imagination Movers album, along with some Disney Guys Uncensored stickers, hey, Mary, we'll throw you some too, don't worry, is going to be Jake from State Farm. No, Jake from Discord. Jake from Discord, we'll reach out to you. We'll get your address. We're going to get these. This is really a digital code for the album, so we'll make sure you get that digital code, and as well as we'll get your address if you want to share it to send you some stickers. Moving on, upcoming guests. We have been on the guest binge lately. We have a good friend of the show and author, Jennifer Brody, otherwise known as Vera Strange by her pen name. She'll be coming back on the show. I think it was episode 80? Bob? I think she came back about a year ago.
Sounds right.
Halloween time last year, she was.
Yeah, it was a poke. It was a poke ago, and I'll tell you, she's a good listen. I think you should go back and listen to that and be prepared for a lot of good stuff. She's seen a lot of things. She's done a lot of things, and she's always an interesting conversation when we have it with her. And we speak to her kind of fairly frequently, I think, Drew. We kind of touch base with her. So she had a couple new books over the last 6 months, 8 months or so that she's released. So, and one just this past week and a half ago. So.
And we're going to throw a little extra spin on that episode with some villains, and that's all I'm going to say. It's going to be super fun. It's something we've never done before, but we're really excited to talk about it. So that'll be next week. Upcoming survey. We're going to be doing some upcoming survey on Facebook. So it'll just be a few questions, polls, very simple. We're really hoping for you guys to interact and to kind of promote and encourage you to interact. We are going to be doing some giveaways along with that. So super simple. All you have to do is vote in the poll. By you voting, it will automatically enter you into win a little Disney Guys Uncensored prize pack. Maybe we'll throw some stickers, some Disney Guys Uncensored coasters. I'll have to go through our goodie bag and see what else we have lying around. But we'll be sending those out. So that will probably be over maybe the next few weeks. Mid-September, late September. We'll announce the winners there. More to come. And I'm going to hand it over now to Bob, because the Ohana has been pretty active lately with some questioners and posts. And what have they been saying?
Yeah, they've been saying a lot.
That's fair.
I think we also had the young lady, Cassandra, maybe, that has the new Madame Leota tattoo that's finally healed up. And I think
Quite a tattoo.
Yeah, really nice looking, really sharp looking. And I know that, anytime you guys share stuff like that, we see it. And most of us, I think at least the three of us, and Jordana, when she's not holed up giving birth to Leo, likes most of the interactions there as well. So also we should mention before we get into this that Leo should be coming soon, we think.
Coming soon. We'll to a theater near posted.
Yep, we will keep you guys posted on that. Anyway, a listener asked, guys, and this is something I had to look up because I don't really follow the permits process because Disney files so many permits and so many various official paperworks with the local governance that I don't keep up with it like I used to be honest, when we first started.
And
but
also,
some permits
doesn't mean something's going to happen every time they file a permit.
Correct. So permits were filed for the Carousel of Progress in the last week or so. It's been nearly 30 years since they last refreshed this ride. Should Disney focus on another minor refresh for the final scene and update the theater seats and carpet, or overhaul the entire ride from start to finish? What does a new Carousel of Progress look and sound like to you? And by you, that person meant us. So I've thought about it for about 12 minutes today when I read this question and said to myself, I don't think you need to make any changes to the attraction. You can update the last scene to kind of bring it closer to the end of the 20th century. I think that we as a Disney fandom get hung up on the word Tomorrowland and insist that we have to have a future that is so persistently becoming the present and the past that it is impossible for Disney to create something that is so far into the future that is not instantly dated. So I think what we really need to do is change the name of Tomorrowland to Progressland and look at the 20th century as a whole in this attraction specifically, and it's still a landmark achievement of that 20th century, and that 100-year span from 1900 to 1999 was an exceptional period of growth in this country in terms of its infrastructure and in terms of what we communicated with people, that I think you can do a really solid presentation there if you bring the last scene up to the late 1990s, maybe early 21st century stuff. If you really want to extend it, you don't need to go into the future. That dream is dead with Tomorrowland. It's dead at Epcot, Tim, as we know already. It's just things are so rapidly changing. It is impossible for Disney to keep up with this. I'm all for ripping up the carpets and changing to more comfortable seats. That I'm on board with. But in terms of changing the structure of the show, maybe an audio remaster, I guess. But I'm not changing much about the attraction. In fact, I'm changing the land to Progressland instead of it being Tomorrowland. Tim, Drew, you guys have any thoughts on the redo? I know there doesn't cover the permits that were filed. We don't really know what they were for. So,
yeah, I'm pretty close to where you are, Bub. I would never want to change the name. I think Tomorrowland's fine. I think you just have to understand that nowadays that represents a retro future that never happened and never will be, and also never is going to be. My suggestion is not so much lock it in a time capsule of the late 90s, but lock it in a time capsule of right now. Get it to what the future, quote unquote, of 2021 looks like. Get it HD TV in there and a PS5 and an Alexa and what a modern kitchen looks like, and kind of lock that in and throw the key away and just keep the spirit of the ride we got to today, and don't pretend that you're predicting something that wasn't. So we have the 4 different epochs, the last one being the modern era that existed at the time of the refurb, and then reevaluate it in maybe 30 years, but don't try to say that the last scene is projecting forward. And otherwise, I agree with you. And obviously, fix the sound, fix the carpets, and fix the chairs, and kind of bring it up to speed. The last thing I want is a total revamp here. This is a historically important ride and such a big part of history. So I'd be real hurt if this turned into something other than what it is. Drew, I think you got something.
I do.
Also.
So as you guys know, and myself with these types of attractions, my first option would be burn it down. Second option, since I understand we have the loyal fan base and the what do they call
quickly, Tim.
It did. So, Bob, this one's for you. I am going to change the name and the theme, but we can keep the theater, the style. We're going to call it the Imaginarium Story. And it's going to be by the eras of how Disney World came in, just like the show portrayed, the different eras, right?
Yeah.
Of Eisner and Eider and all these guys, right? The whole.
Listen, if you're giving me an Eisner animatronic, I am on board.
Yeah.
Frank Wells animatronic.
Again, that's my
Roy Disney animatronic.
Yeah.
I mean, forgive me. Carousel Fair has what, 5 scenes maybe? Whatever it is, I don't remember. But 4, whatever it might be. That's you'd have to decide on the 4 or 5 hours and go from there.
Yeah.
Imaginary story, the attraction.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. That's not as bad and not as bad as burning it down. So I appreciate you playing ball here.
That's option 2, of course. Option 1 is always burn it down.
All right. So we also, I brought a post because I was sitting here watching some home improvement shows on Discovery Plus the last couple of weeks, which we'll get to our streaming picks in a second. And I was wondering, how is there no Disney home renovations though? Because there's a lot of nuts out there that would love to have the Haunted Mansion wallpaper in their living room, and people do it. People have painted Spaceship Earth murals on their walls and stuff. So there's people out there that want this, and you could definitely get people that are willing to redesign their house or redecorate their house to be Disney themed. I don't know how we don't have a home renovation show.
Maybe Timmy Britt could house it.
I think he could. Yes,
he could host that.
House it. Yeah, he could do both.
Do both. I mean,
come to Texas for the design center. Yeah, sure. Why not? I think they're missing the mark by not having one, and this was kind of just random musings that happen in the Ohana when I'm bored at home, not at work, at home, and so we got a couple of ideas from listeners. Guys did say a next Imagineer competition, which is actually fairly common amongst people that responded here. A next Imagineer competition style show. Get a dozen or so 16 or 17-year-olds and have them do a challenges, etc. Winner gets a scholarship. Great idea. No problems with that idea. A signature dish show. Now, signature dish show. Tim, this basically cooking style show, which is basically just a commercial for their restaurants. Now, I know we've talked about it.
Yeah,
we've talked about it here.
This is my number one thing that I want.
How has this not happened yet?
That's all I want. Disney is now to the point, and we'll get into it a little bit when we talk about some of our news items, that they are talking about the chefs. So-and-so has been named the executive chef of this restaurant. We've brought this team on to run this restaurant. Yep. How do they just not put cameras in the kitchen?
Like Hell's Kitchen. Disney's Kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Just show what it takes to run a food service operation at scale, because there is no place in the world that is doing it close to Walt Disney World is doing at the scale and at the range of from the Value Hotel quick service food court up to Victoria and Albert's and literally everything in between. Disney's the only place in the world that's doing all that for as many people as they're doing it every day. Why are they not documenting it? Blows my mind.
Try to use Wolfgang Puck there for the host. No brainer.
Absolutely. Somebody who has done plenty of hosting for Disney in the past.
Guy also did mention this is a good time to do a show on Disney's ambassadors. With the 50th anniversary coming up in October, you should have the ambassadors from around the world in Orlando, have them talk about how they became ambassadors and what they did previously at Disney, show them giving VIP tours to a celebrity, going to children's hospitals, etc. Another fine idea. I think we all want to see stuff behind the curtain, as it were, is what we're looking for.
And
here.
We're starting to see a little bit of that. Let's be honest, behind the attraction. I mean, behind the
Great
curtain.
show. If you're not watching it, you're missing out.
I'm missing out.
Good friend of the show and designer of our many logos, Greg Cook, says competition show for the next Imagineer. He does also already mention, that's why we're kind of circling back, a show where you pitch an idea to existing Imagineers a la Shark Tank. I love that concept.
I do like that.
I think you have untapped potential out there.
Well, you have untapped.
Got to bring the road dog back in.
I like that because you have untapped imagination, right? The sky's the limit, right? And let the Imagineers run with it, or you could be part of the project. But I like that.
Or in Shark Tank fashion, you have Joe Rohde telling you that your idea is bad and would never actually work in a theme park environment.
No, that wouldn't be Rohde doing that. That would be Bob Chapek saying, "There's no money in that. I'm out."
Know your audience. Know your audience.
Not the first time we're going to mention Chapek and money tonight, but
love Chapek and money.
A documentary series that tracks the next big ride and follows it from idea creation to opening. They have great content for their past rides. This would allow them to have a complete story. I would air this just in conjunction with the ride opening. I think similar concept would be if they did do a Galaxy's Edge special on ABC Family or Freeform, whatever the hell it's called. when Galaxy's first opened, it kind of showed some of that. So I understand where he's going from, and we know they have someone walking around. There, a lot of this gets recorded. So another great concept. And just for fun, Drew, Greg Cook wants an amazing race-style show that would involve going to the different parks and resorts around the world and include some of the inspiration locations behind different rides and lands. Drew, I'm going to jump ahead because Jordana wants to do a Survivor season on Discovery Island and River Country. So both of them tapping into the, as you love, the reality TV market.
Love it. I mean, I think it sounds like me, Jordana, and Greg and I have to get together for a little reality episode.
So I want to see the same thing, but like Bear Grylls at River Country and and Discovery Island. You know, trying to dodge and weave around the
Bear Grylls on Kilimanjaro Safari.
That too.
Okay.
Trying to acting like he's out there surviving, and then they have to like, oh wait, the ride vehicle goes by him, and it's very clear that he's not out in any kind of wilderness whatsoever.
So if they play it straight, and the scenery around him is the humor guy, and he's the straight man, I'm in. Like it needs to be very tongue in cheek.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's a one and done episode. Can't go much more than that.
Got to battle off the brain-eating amoebas in the water at River Country.
How fun would it be to see him on the Jungle Cruise reacting to like the rhinos and stuff, like the animatronic rhinos? Like I think that'd be a good time too.
I mean, that's a
Disney Guy Uncensored Hall of Famer Andrew Keist coming back with his. So to understand the first comment that he made is he has a new book coming out in November about Walt Disney's childhood and growing up as Walt Disney. He thinks it would be fun to have an In Walt's Footsteps show to walk through the various important locations of his life, Chicago, Marceline, etc. I believe Chris Lucas also on board with this idea. And I think it's a great idea. I think I'd watch it. I don't know if it would be a hit. I think super Disney fans, I think Tim would probably enjoy it. I would enjoy it. We convinced Drew to watch it. He would enjoy it. But I think the further outside the circle of Disney fandom you go, the tougher sell that would be for people. But I love the idea. It would also be cool to do a mini series on major Imagineers, which I think we've talked about before too. He recommends Claude Coates, Mary Blair, Mark Davis, Rolly Crump all getting their own shows, similar to Imagineering story, but pretty much the story behind the Imagineers as opposed to the story behind the attractions, which I also am here for. Love that idea. And he'd also love to see a release of the Disneyland Anthology television series and Drew Home Improvement.
Yes,
he wants Home Improvement on Disney Plus. God bless him. Yes. Jordana matrixed us here. She has a selection of 4 pills to choose from here, guys. We can only choose one pill. The concept here, green pill is APs for life, blue resort stays for life, yellow dining plan for life, and purple was Fast Pass Plus for life until 3 days ago when it became just Genie Plus for life.
This post was before Genie was announced.
Yes. Well, before the parameters were set out, that we knew that this was really going to be the replacement.
Yeah, Fast Pass
Janiqua Friesen went with blue only for the deluxe, as if, I mean...
Thank God you didn't ask me to read that one.
Guy Izzo, there are no bad choices, but I'd go blue. Shane Fontaine, deceiving but going yellow for the dining plan. Katie Schaefer-Horton, green for the APs. Mike Min goes blue. Jessica Panarello, blue for her and Zay. Purple would be amazing for Gia. Kathy DiCaprio, who's been a long-time follower, and she actually does a show with her husband, I believe, as well. We had them on one of the roundtables we did last year. Blue. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's Kathy Hill. Kathy DiCaprio's a long-time listener. Kathy Hill does the podcast. I got that right. Kathy Hill, definitely blue. Francis Phillips, green for the APs. Kristen Whitaker went green APs. Kendall Barber went blue. Cassandra Chadbourne, blue resort stays for life. Straight rep in the NWO. Ethel Venturino went resort stays for life. Obviously, the answer from a monetary standpoint is the blue pill. Resort stays for life is where you're going to save the most money. However, APs for life is not bad either. I mean, I personally chose the dining plan, and
but if you're not local, AP's tough. You'd have to live local.
Yeah, AP's tough. You'd have to. You're right. Correct. So, Tim, is there a case to be made for Genie Plus here?
Yes, there is.
I don't think so, because I mean, with green or blue, you now have the opportunity to be in the park so often that you can just do it all eventually with low crowds or lucky pop in on a short standby or whatever. You got plenty of time to experience everything. The only way that Purple Pill Fast Pass Plus / Genie Plus for life makes sense is if you can, have a limited amount of time in the parks, which the other things enable you to not have to worry about that restriction.
Drew, I feel like you have something to say about the Genie Plus for life.
I got to be honest. This was Fast Pass Plus for life, which is a very different situation because I took Fast Pass for Plus for life, meaning you pretty much get unlimited Fast Passes for life.
Okay.
Genie Plus would limit your number of Fast Passes, right? Because you only the way the new system works, and so I don't know. If we pretend Genie doesn't exist for a minute, I think Fast Pass Plus for life because I mean you're just getting a Fast Pass for every ride.
You still have to pay for the resorts. You still have to pay for the park passes.
I still have to. I'm not going to the parks any more than I do today. I mean, I don't live there. The annual pass is useless to me.
I mean, this is no fun fantasy.
Listen,
yeah,
it's not about the money. It's about the sure. If you want money, you do one of those. But when you're in the park, your experience is game changing. It's just game changing. Just flying through every attraction.
I'm getting those cheap tickets out of Providence, flying down there for the weekend, using my unlimited resorts. I'm not even going to the parks. I'm just picking a resort, staying in the pool, soaking in the ambiance, eating at some restaurants.
If I'm going there, I'm going to the Fast Passes.
Drew wants to hit all the boat rides in one day.
I want to be the Family Matter episode when they, step-by-step episodes. I'm that guy. Every ride,
world.
a day. No, F that.
Small world again.
So just so we're clear, so you guys understand, Skype has new emoji reactions for us right now, and there's 3 Space Jam ones, and I dunked Tim's. I thought Tim dunked his answer. I thought it was fantastic. It was the right answer, the right way to go. There's no option for me, but I'm going to give Drew the Daffy Duck on this one because I'm not buying the idea that Fast Pass Plus was a better alternative than either of those other pills. But hey, boys, we're not even to the news yet. We're 40 minutes into the recording. Let's keep it rolling right into what have we been streaming. Drew, very quickly, what should the Ohana be watching that you're watching?
Yes, very quickly. The Undoing on Netflix, I believe. I wrote Netflix for everything. That might not be accurate. The Undoing, if you saw Mayor of Easttown, right? The murder mystery, small town type thing. Undoing.
Mayor of Easttown was HBO.
Thank you, Bob. HBO Undoing, very similar, 6 episodes, I think. Go check it out if you like that murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
White Lotus, HBO. It's an amazing show about nothing. That's all you need to know. It's about a couple that's just like me or you that are on their honeymoon. Great show to watch with your significant other. Go watch it. And then...
Not one for the kids, though.
No, they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't like it. Netflix, Cobra Kai. You hear about Cobra Kai? What is Cobra Kai? This is when I'm running on the treadmill, I only watch Cobra Kai. It's fantastic. Karate Kid. It's about the Karate Kid. It's about the bad guys in Karate Kid. That's the Cliff Notes. Fantastic.
You wouldn't say they're the bad guys.
Yeah, might be, depends who you ask.
The misunderstood guys in Karate
It
Kid.
depends who you ask, but...
And I think this explains a little bit why it's misunderstood. I think I'm on the last episode of season 1.
But look at you giving credence to HBO Max being the best streaming service around. I'm proud of you.
Have we ever doubted it? Never a doubt.
I mean, we haven't, but I think people have. I think people have doubted it. Tim, what about you? Tim, you have had a busy weekend, and your week is just getting started really with wrestling. So let's.
Yeah. So I'd be lying if I said most of my streaming lately has just been so very much wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan, you're loving it right now. This is
time to be alive.
Yeah, this has been an unreal time to be a wrestling fan, and also a time when the world at large is taking notice of wrestling because so much stuff is happening. But other than that, I've also been streaming White Lotus. It's fantastic. HBO Max is killing it right now. Disney Plus, not not bad either. What If is a fantastic follow-up to Loki and Scarlet Witch and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Super, super awesome. Because of the nature of the show, every single one is a bottle episode. The animation is fantastic. The voice acting is incredible. This latest episode, I won't give away the premise, but it does feature the Black Panther. It was Chadwick Boseman's last performance before his death. So it is heartwarming to get to see him play Black Panther one last time in a very, very different way than he played Black Panther in the movie and in the Avengers. So far, only 2 episodes out. They come out on Wednesdays instead of Friday, which is a little bit weird. I honestly have been watching them on Fridays, but super, super awesome show. Awesome to check out and doesn't require much investment because every episode stands on its own.
I like that. Bob, I've also been watching the new Paw Patrol movie on Paramount Plus. It's well done.
Look at you. Throwing a bone to Paramount Plus. He might be the only 2 people in the world that have Paramount Plus.
We have it so Rachel can watch Big Brother.
So we have 3 people on this show that watch Paramount Plus.
And they sold you. It's like $60 for the year or 2 years, whatever.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the yearly price, guys. I've obviously been streaming Ted Lasso season 2. I don't know how you guys aren't watching. Ted
It's on the
Lasso.
list.
Apple TV. So I don't love Apple TV's schedule of releasing one at a time because the show I think is better bingeable than it is watching it week to week. But love Ted Lasso, love the spirit of Teddy Lasso, and it's just fantastic. I've also been digging deep into the Austin City Limits archives on PBS Passport. With a small donation to your local PBS station, you too can have PBS Passport, and I also have that now. So Fixer Upper on Discovery Plus, that's really for Meg than me. But great stuff. I love
more now for streaming than you paid for cable.
No, because I don't pay these monthly. I pay them in like 6-month increments. So I don't think about it as I'm paying it monthly because my internet bill is significantly less than my cable bill was. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, yes, I'm probably paying more.
It's the smart play to like say, all right, HBO is, September. Let's watch everything on HBO in September. And then in, October, it's going to be Netflix month. I feel like if you just did a rotating schedule there, you could probably save a lot of money.
There are definitely people who do that. I think the other thing is just look at the different bundles you have. Look at the different things that are offered. Like I have Discovery Plus. I hardly ever use it, but it's included with my phone plan. And so you just Discovery make sure Plus. You know what streaming services you have access to.
Yeah, I've got it. Discovery Plus has BattleBots. Alex would be crushed if I didn't have Discovery Plus. He loves BattleBots. And I've been crushing Monsters at Work on Disney Plus. I wanted to hate this show. I wanted to think it was going to suck, and it doesn't. It's so entertaining. It shouldn't be as good as it is.
How good is the bowling episode?
It's great. It's amazing. In fact, the bowling episode, and then they went back to back. They went bowling episode. The one between was, but then they had where the Abominable Snowman got unbanished. Great episode.
That one.
And then the recent episode when it was Bring Your Kids to Work Day. It was fantastic.
I must have missed those 2. I'm behind.
Yeah, great. And Zachary, every Wednesday we go, Dak and I, we watch it. And like Tim, I'm like, no, it's not Friday yet. It's not out yet. And sure enough, new episodes there on Wednesdays. So I'm still adjusting to the Disney Plus Wednesday schedule as well. Boys, girls, that is all we have for Gord and his very hard work over the last couple of months since he's been gone. Let's head over to the Disney News Desk.
Thanks, Bob. We have a lot of news to catch up on. Last week on our every other week schedule was off, and on top of that, it's just been news, getting ready for the 50th, and some big changes. First of all, I think the biggest Disney news story of the past year, decade, the NBA experience, to the shock of the world, is permanently closed. It will not return from COVID. It was open for a very short time before it was forced to close from the global pandemic. Universal Orlando tweeted airball. And I think that about covers the NBA experience gone.
It was open
too
for
soon.
what, a total of 7 months because it was
I think-
open and then the pandemic hit and then it just
What a waste of capital investment.
millions.
What a waste of space.
Millions.
And what a waste of.
So
Oh
I
my
did
God.
see,
Yeah,
I
unreal.
did see some Bob Betts your earlier point. Some permits, quotation marks, were filed to redo some of the structure. So I'm sure they want to gut it again for whatever their future, but they want to
Maybe
in
they
the
just
process.
make another parking garage.
Might as well at this point. Disney Springs can eat my ass. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. You might as well put a park garage. I'm not going anymore. Screw it.
Because the NBA experience? Well, I'm just confused because Disney Springs is like legitimately the best it's ever been by far now.
Disney
I
Springs,
can't wait for that episode. That episode's on the schedule, Drew. Don't you worry about that.
I'm not doing it. We have too much to talk about. That's it. I'm off my soapbox.
We're not going to get into this, but you're crazy.
You're crazy.
All right. Speaking of Disney Springs, we finally have some hard opening dates, prices, all that for Cirque du Soleil's brand new, co-produced with Disney Spectacular, Drawn to Life. Bub, I think you got some of the details that are out on that. What's going on with Drawn to Life?
Yeah, so first time they've ever collaborated with the animation studios and Imagineering on a show. So this is going to be top of the line. Concept here, boys, is you journey into a world where an animator's drawings come to life. The show is a celebration of life, accentuated by the delightful, mesmerizing movements of Cirque du Soleil's acrobatic mastery. It looks good. I've seen some of the puppet. They did release some of the puppet construction they're doing, and so it does look pretty cool. Tickets are anywhere from $85 to $185, which is the going rate. I mean, Lanuba was a little bit less, but that was also 10 years ago, so you got to keep that in mind.
This is in line with the Vegas ones, or cheaper than some of. There's a number of them in Vegas now.
Yep. And the show opens, Tim, November 18th. Tickets went on sale this past Friday, and I will tell you, for the first week and a half to 2 weeks of shows, there are only the $85 seats left up in the back of the theater. So tickets are going quickly for this, and when we get into the first couple of weeks in November, between the 18th and Thanksgiving, there's one showing a day at 5:30 p.m. After that, once the calendar flips to December, there will be 2 show times per night, 5:30 and 8:30. Drew, I never saw Lanuba, one of my great Disney regrets, because I heard nothing but good things about this show.
I think it was a different age for us. That we were a little young. I mean, we weren't young, but yeah, I mean, we were probably too old for Disney Quest, but we were going there still. Yeah, I agree. This is something that I'm excited for. I'm hoping it's there for a long time because, Bob, I think our kids are young, but maybe like 8 to 10 years from now, if it's still going, it sounds crazy, but
so for the 60th anniversary.
No, I mean that's kind of the typical length for these Cirque du Soleil productions. I mean, I think the original Cirque du Soleil that went to Vegas, they're still running that one in addition to the Beatles one and the Avatar one and stuff. So I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities, especially in Disney where they have the theater kind of purpose built for it. That'd be around that long.
Agreed. Good topic.
Yeah, my only fear with this is, speaking of the Avatar one, that the whole point of Cirque du Soleil is this kind of concept of human abstraction, and the Avatar one they have, it's almost too literal, so I hope they don't lean too much into the Disney stuff and we still get more of the fantastical, emotional stuff that Cirque du Soleil is known for.
Yeah, I mean, well, Lanuba ran for 19 years, so I mean, and it was still fairly popular at the end of its run. It obviously was not nearly as popular as the beginning of its run, but it was still playing to pretty solid houses. So, I mean, and Tim, I understand your concern. I guess we'll have to see come November 18th when we get the first reviews and stuff like that from the show.
For sure. So now moving on to a little bit of parks news, and by a little bit, I mean a whole lot. First of all, masks have been relaxed again. Disney has changed the mask policy once again. Now optional for outdoors, including outdoor queues and outdoor theaters. But as soon as you're indoors or on a ride that goes indoors at any point, you're required to wear a mask. I'll be totally honest. I hate this. they just need to make it make sense. I understand that the CDC says that, and this still only applies technically to vaccinated guests. Unvaccinated guests are required to wear a mask at all times. This is just, Disney needs to stop changing the masking guidelines so much. Either pick a lane and stay in it. You have to make it make sense. As it stands now, like, the Peter Pan queue is technically outside for most of it. So you can pack into the Peter Pan queue without a mask. There's no social distancing in any of the queues anymore. And wait all the way through that. And then once you get inside, you have to put your mask on when you sit in your flying boat with your family, and only your family, and are far away from everybody else. It just seems like that would be where it would be okay to not wear a mask, but you'd want to wear a mask in line. So I don't know what Disney's thinking. I understand that this is about people now complaining and canceling vacations because when they booked, they thought it was going to be no masks, and now masks are back. But Disney really needs to stay consistent on this stuff and stop making so many changes. That's my opinion. Do you guys have anything to say about this?
I mean, I couldn't agree more. That it's just confusing, is what it is. Disney's in a tough spot. I'm not saying Disney should do this or should not do this. They got to do what they feel is right for them, regardless of what their state guidelines, I guess you could say, are.
Or lack thereof.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's a unique situation where they could do nothing. I mean, look at Universal. But I think, aside from all that and how we personally feel, I think the confusion is set in, right? If the average person, I mean, we're podcasters, but the average person, I'd be confused as hell. Like when, and I haven't gone this week, obviously, so I don't know if there's a person's cast member at every line that says, oh, this line, you have to wear it. This line, you do not. I mean, just make the rule. If I have to wear them, I have to wear them. If I don't have to wear them, I don't have to wear them. I don't want to be trying to figure it out each ride. That's it.
Yeah. I think Tim said it best. Pick a lane and stay in it. If you just want people to wear masks, just fine. Go ahead. You know you're going to lose people if you do that.
But you're going to lose people the other way as well.
And you're going to lose people if you don't have the mask requirement. So just pick a lane and stay in it. That's it. They've changed it 3 times since they reopened. This isn't this more than anything else is an ineptitude of the highest order in terms of, and you can say, oh, well, they're nickel and they're taking this way. No. This isn't about the money or people not getting on the Magical Express in January. No. Pick one and stay in the lane because, like Tim said, you have people booking trips with the assumption they're not going to have to wear them, and they're going for that reason. And then 3 days before their trip, you're saying, now you got to wear them inside the indoor-outdoor queues and outdoor theaters. You don't have to wear them, but an outdoor theater that's covered, maybe, and it just decide which one it is. It's incredible to me that a company of this magnitude can't seem to get out of their own way with this one. Pick one and stay with it. SeaWorld says no. Universal says no. I'm not saying they're right, but at least they made a decision.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree with you more. Moving on, today we got a nice little Monday update on Splash Mountain's refurb. From the Disney Park blog, Tiana is an ambitious and resilient woman who proves that success comes through a connection to her family and community and has learned to never lose sight of what's really important, giving back to others through great food and inspiring to them to achieve their full potential. That is a mouthful. And that is kind of the mission statement of the Tiana-focused revamp going on at Splash Mountain. They showed some concept art of the attraction. The story takes place after the final kiss as Naveen and Lewis join Tiana on her latest adventure, hosting a one-of-a-kind Mardi Gras celebration where everyone is welcome, during which some original music inspired by songs from the film will bring guests into the story. Tiana's leading the way, and fans will be able to encounter old friends and make new ones along the way. The big takeaway here is the concept art looks awesome. Tiana has a super cool adventurer outfit that looks like something out of Jungle Cruise or the Society of Explorers Adventures.
That's gonna move some units, Tim. That doll's gonna move some units.
I was just saying they got to do merch. I mean, they did merch for Splash Mountain for all those years, so I can't imagine they're not going to merchandise the heck out of this new look for Tiana. Looks great. The concept art looks great. Obviously, this is a lot of marketing copy talking about big blue sky, lofty ambition ideas of what the ride means. But end of the day, it's going to be Tiana and her friends preparing the restaurant for a big Mardi Gras celebration and taking an adventure through the bayou to do that. It's going to be great. No time frame on when it is actually going to happen.
None.
What we do know is going to happen, because it already did happen, is President Joe Biden has arrived at the Hall of Presidents. Animatronic Biden wears a blue suit, a red and blue striped tie, white pocket square, and a flag pin. The Hall of Presidents version of Biden is age 78, just like the real man, displayed with a few props on a nearby table, and includes peach blossoms to represent his home state of Delaware, not the flower that I would associate with Delaware. To be honest, I thought the state flower of Delaware was the dogwood. I'm going to look that up when we get off the call, but apparently it is peach blossoms, and he has his iconic aviator sunglasses.
Great. Good to see him there. Good to see him.
Yeah, I have to say, he looks a lot better than the Trump animatronic. I don't mean that in a political way. I'm just saying that Trump animatronic, it didn't look like a human being, never mind the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump. All right.
Tim, I regrettably inform you, according to Google, the state flower of Delaware is the peach blossom.
Wow. That is so weird. I didn't even know peaches grew in Delaware. A peach blossom is the flower of a peach tree, correct?
Apparently, there are more than 800,000 peach orchards in the state of Delaware that yield crops worth thousands of dollars at a time, Tim. Apparently,
that is crazy. Delaware, size-wise, makes Rhode Island look like Texas.
Are you guys avid in the lore of state flowers? I mean,
I had to Google it, Tim.
No, I'm like a trivia person. And apparently I would have gotten that question wrong. That is going to get followed. I'll never forget that one for bar trivia, though.
I guess my point is, if I said, what is the state flower of Nevada, would you know?
Desert Rose.
Yep.
Colorado.
I want to say it's the Morning Glory, but I'm not positive.
I'm going to eat my hat.
Something that looks like. Hold on.
But never mind. Obviously, what I thought was, let's move on.
All right.
Oh no, it's the Blue Columbine, but it does kind of like a Morning Glory. So okay, I'll count that one.
All right. Little annual pass news. Walt Disney World did put out a statement that annual passes are coming back and they will be on sale in time for the 50th. On the other hand, at Disneyland, we have all the details on the annual pass replacement program. It is called Magic Key. It is very similar to the Flex Pass that was there before. It is a reservation-based program. Pretty wide range of options and prices to fit every family's budget and unique needs. Those options are the Imagine Key, the Enchant Key, the Believe Key, and the Dream Key. The Imagine Key is the lowest level key. It is $399. It is only available to Southern California, I believe Orange County residents only. It entitles you to reservation-based admission to one or both theme parks on select days of the year. Those days of the year are highly, highly limited. If you look at the calendar, I believe it includes no weekends or very limited weekends and no holidays whatsoever. Tons of blackout dates, and you can only hold 2 park reservations at one time. There is no discounts on food or merchandise on that one, I believe. The Enchant Key at $649 a month is 4 park reservations at a time, 10% off select merchandise, 10% off select food and beverage, fewer blackout dates. Believe Key, $949, 6 reservations at a time, food, merch discounts, and 50% off parking. The Believe Key is where you really get into more holiday dates being available. I have heard with, I think, Imagine and Enchant, all of Easter week is blocked out. All of Thanksgiving week is blocked out. A lot of the dates around Christmas are blocked out. So you do have to get up to almost $1,000 to get into a lot of those high demand days. And then we get to the Dream Key at $1,399 a person. You can hold 6 reservations a year, 20% off merchandise, 15% off food, and free parking. And that gets you no blackout dates. This program seems to have been very well received by the Disneyland community. I think there was a pretty implicit understanding that the annual pass program, while amazing, was not a viable long-term option for that park. It had literally gotten to the point where people going to Disneyland on vacation and people buying day tickets were almost crowded out universally just by the sheer number of annual pass holders. I know I have friends who lived in Southern California as youths, and it was almost a rite of passage to get your first annual pass because families could pay a couple $100, and then you could, send your kid to Disneyland while you went to work all summer instead of having to pay for camp or daycare. So the old annual pass program, I just don't think was viable, and this is a good compromise, and the price points are pretty reasonable in the scheme of what these things cost. Bub, Drew, do you guys have any thoughts on the Magic Key program?
Well, the Magic Key rollout went better than the Genie rollout did, Tim.
All right. Yeah, that's true. That as I said, this was well received by seems like most people.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. I think it's solid value. I mean, it sounds
clear
like
and concise.
It's very clear.
That's all you can ask for.
That said, the word annual passes has been used consistently in all the language for Walt Disney World. Annual pass holders make up a tiny, tiny fraction of Walt Disney World guests. I do not expect any changes when we get the annual pass announcement, other than the super expensive Cadillac Coast to Coast annual pass that very few people actually buy. Probably will not be offered because it would allow a backdoor basically into the annual pass program at Disneyland that they just eliminated. So yeah, Walt Disney World folks, just expect that we will have annual passes back again, probably with some price adjustments like every year.
Probably some price adjustments, Tim?
The price will probably be higher than it was in 2019 when annual passes were last offered.
Probably, Tim?
Yes, probably. Very likely, Bub. The passes will be more expensive.
Very, very likely.
All right. We got the details for the Christmas party. And by Christmas party, I mean it's not a party. It's a Christmas after-hours event, very much like the Halloween event we got this year. It'll feature fireworks, the mist and overlays at the castle. Will not feature the dream lights as we covered a couple weeks ago. Minnie's wonderful Christmas time fireworks, which I think were the new fireworks show for 2019 holiday season, if I am not mistaken. The holiday attraction overlays are making a comeback. The fan favorite Jingle Cruise transformation will return. Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor will get hot new holiday jokes. I think that's new for this year. They always do Halloween Laugh Floor. I don't know about Christmas Laugh Floor, but that should be joyful and hilarious big MILF fans here on the cast.
Well, we're doing MILF.
The Reindeer Wranglers musical group will perform seasonal songs and provide sensational streamosphere in Frontierland. You can dance the night way at Club Tinsel Dance Party in Tomorrowland. That is at that stage over there by Space Mountain, like every year at the party. And just like all after-hour events, there will be complimentary ice cream novelties. That's your Mickey bars, your ice cream sandwiches, your bomb pops, popsicles, free popcorn, or popcorn included the price of admission, some seasonal treats. I'm assuming we're talking packaged cookies there, and bottled beverages, and complimentary photo pass for the duration of the event. There will be a special holiday parade, which is Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time parade. During the After Hours event, Mickey and Minnie Mouse will be joined by their pals from Frozen, Toy Soldiers, some Toy Story characters, and of course, Santa Claus will be appearing on that parade. It is a full parade, not a cavalcade. This is the first full parade to roll down Main Street since March of last year. Tickets range from $169 to $229 plus tax for select nights throughout November and December. And then jump up to $249 per person per night on December 19th and the 21st. Annual pass holders and Disney Vacation Club members with the blue card can take advantage of a $10 whole discount on select dates only in November. All these tickets are dated for the event, do not require an additional theme park ticket. If you are planning on doing this with your family, do not get a theme park ticket for those days unless you already have a length of stay ticket that it's only a couple extra bucks to get that, because you will
pretty much
be doing whatever you want in the parks. And though the event doesn't start till the sun goes down, typically for these events, you are allowed to enter the park around 5:30, 6 o'clock with that ticket before they empty the park out of non-after hours folks. Not much to say here. Looks like after hours versus parties is the direction they're going to, at least for now. This is a lot. I shared it with Drew when these prices came out. These are almost exactly double what the cost of the Very Merry Christmas party tickets were last year for the dates. I believe it was $88 for the $169 nights, and then roughly $110, $120 for the closer to the holiday dates. Now, granted, there was more people at the Christmas parties than were in the parks during the days in that season, but this is a huge price increase for, in some ways, that's something that offers a little bit less than the parties did. What's your guys' thoughts on these the switch to after hours events from parties for Halloween and Christmas?
Bob, I'll let you take it away, sir.
Yeah, so I agree with the Halloween stance. I don't think the Halloween party is a great value. The Halloween after hours event we're getting is not a great value. I think this is as close to what Mickey and Minnie's Christmas party was, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas, as you were going to get this year. Granting that the price increase is absurd, I think this is much closer to an actual Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party than whatever the hell they're doing in Halloween is.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, I guess you don't have the full blown parade, but I mean, you're right, Bob. What else is?
No, you do. The real deal.
The same parade this year.
Okay, so yeah, so what are you really? You're not really missing anything from the previous parties.
This is pretty much an extended version of the Christmas party.
So I get
so
it.
This one is a plus
presumably lower capacity.
So, as we know, I'm a guy that says, hey, I don't mind paying for something, but it is absurd when you look at this. And if you have a family of four, right? I have a 4 and 7-year-old. It's going to cost me, depending on when I go, around $800 to $1,000 to go to this party. I mean,
that's absurd.
that is a lot of money when I mean, you think about that. I don't know, Bob. What's today? Family. I mean, I've been into the actual parts in probably 2 years, but maybe a year. I don't know, $5,000 at least, $6,000 to go, including flights. So you're adding like a 20% cost for one night. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, right?
Yeah, no, I think for sure the price increases.
So here's the problem.
Just crazy to me, but
people are going to pay it.
I don't know if this is a much more of a less than experience than the last Christmas party was.
I'm not arguing.
Yeah, I think I did misspeak. The thing that is missing and hasn't been, I shouldn't even say missing, because by the time these parties are happening, I think it was purposely left out, is the Christmas party was known for having a lot of very rare character meet and greets.
For sure, Tim. I don't disagree with that.
But right now,
Halloween too, yeah.
Yeah, right now they're very limited in what character meet and greets they can do, but quite possibly by the time these parties roll around, if that's not limited, you may get some of these very unusual characters out there, and maybe not meet and greeting, but at least doing the socially distanced photo ops.
Tim, it's funny you mention that, because I feel like you can control meet and greet capacities. I feel like you have people there. I think you have a 0% chance of controlling people waiting for the parade. I feel like the parade would have been the thing that I would have said, we may have the parade, we may not. I feel like the parade, you get a lot more crowding.
90% of the people are going to the parade.
We're going to that parade.
But the problem, to your point, Bub, is, we all know Jack and Sally come at the Halloween party, and the line wait gets up to 4 hours, right? And it's asinine for so many levels, where you talk about controlling character meet and greets. Disney actually does a terrible job at this. And I get it, right? Kids, cover your ears, right? But why not put 3 Jack and Sallys across the parts? And I get that's not Disney. It's not a continuity.
Yeah, Disney's just never going to do that unless you have something like Star Wars Launch Bay, where you have specially built rooms that facilitate that, so it's impossible to break the illusion.
Magic Kingdom has plenty of spots to do inside meet and greets, right? And the problem is you either spend $200 a ticket to stand in line for 3 hours to meet a character that you really wanted to meet, or you enjoy your night. So that's my problem I have with these parties is like you said, one of the big selling points is you see all these cool characters and you want to take a picture with them, because you'll never be able to do that again. But if I'm spending an hour here, 45 minutes there, 2 hours for there, it's like you just wasted your whole night. So it's interesting. Like you said, guys, the value is there. I'm interested to see what happens if they're going to be.
I don't think either one of us.
Yeah, I don't think I would say the value is there.
I don't want to. Let me rephrase that. The value of the ticket, I agree, is too much money. There's a lot to do. The cost and value is not there. I said that wrong, but there's a lot to do, right? There's a lot of that. But I don't know. It's just it's tough for me to say it. I'm not for this price ticket increase here, but I want to see what happens. Are they trying to limit? Because let's be honest, also, you pay all this money and you get in the parts and you can't do anything, to my point. That also blows. Will you see a reduction in crowd control? Maybe this is their answer to crowd control.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, we'll never know how many tickets they sell.
No, but if people go and they say that there was, now, for example, Jack and Sally's a half-hour wait, I think that could, right off the bat, would tell you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Last bits of park news. The Epcot playground, which is over there kind of by the way you walk into the World Showcase. What's that area? I don't know what that area is technically
it's kind of near
called.
Test Track.
It's across the bridge to get to World Showcase. Is getting a re-theme to Princess Tiana. That is for World Princess Week, which we covered a while back. That is part of the celebration, along with the ability to call the princesses. And then they picked Tiana because we are heading into Food and Wine as the princess that best is associated with
the playground,
food and wine.
I correct me if I'm wrong. It's a permanent.
Correct. Right. Yes.
Okay.
It is a permanent until they change it again.
It's a nice little playground area. I will say that.
Everything I read said it was specifically for food and wine.
Is it? I don't know. I'm asking. I thought it was.
Everything I read was specific to food and wine.
It was mentioned in an article I was reading today about World Princess Week, which I had forgotten
There's
was
a lot
this
of
week.
damn conflicting reports out there with the Princess Week, which was this week, and then food and wine starts. I read somewhere I thought it was specifically to food and wine, but it's.
So to be honest, the only princess who crosses over with both of those things.
I think that's a big difference. If you're retheming a temporary, it's a temporary stuff. I thought they were knocking it down and rebuilding, but maybe you're right, Bob.
They're just doing add-ons, like the little spinny wheel thing has like different food plates and stuff. It seemed to be very minimal from the images that I saw.
Very less impressed now.
So yeah, no, when I was they had it themed up for Festival of the Arts as well. It's just like, standees, some very light theming, like bolted to the existing playground sort of thing.
Seems not newsworthy at this point.
I don't believe that this is a permanent fixture, but I could be wrong. I am almost reasonably certain this is a food and wine exclusive.
All right. Other than that, I gotta say, Disney is mostly knocking it out of the park lately with their merch they've been releasing. The Halloween collection this year is awesome. Disney has for a long time had a hard time doing on-trend clothing and merch, and all the stuff in the Halloween collection is super cool, super on trend. Most of it also super sold out as soon as it came out. I know there was the Haunted Mansion, Hitchhiking Ghost, jean shorts for women. Those sold out instantly. Some really cool different tie-dyed tops. And just very 90s inspired Haunted Mansion Halloween collection. That's awesome. As well as today popped up on the store, 2 new designers from their artist series. This is stuff that you see featured at the Co-op, one of the Disney Guys Uncensored top shops on property. This Disney Guys personal favorite merchandise shop on property, or that other kind of cool merch clothing store right at the entrance by the AMC Wine and Dine Theater, right to the entrance of Disney Springs. The 2 designers are Brett Iwan, who is the current official voice of Mickey Mouse. Apparently, he was not a voice actor by trade. He was actually a designer for Disney who stumbled into the role of voicing Mickey. He's getting back into the design game, along with Nanako Kanamitsu. Both of them have done cool, really sketch-inspired Mickey. My only criticism of this collection is both of these artists' clothing is coming out at the same time, and it's very similar. Both of them are very sketch, modern interpretations of the Mickey motif. I personally think the Nanako Kanamitsu stuff is super, super cool, but the Brett Iwan stuff, there's like a Spirit Jersey style long sleeve top that's really cool. Check this stuff out if you want some kind of more hip Disney stuff to wear on your next trip. Not so cool is the 50th merch. I'm just really not impressed with it. I think it looks like very cookie cutter. And what you would imagine a theme park celebrating a milestone's merch would look like. And I mean that in the worst way possible. It's just a lot of the words Walt Disney World and the castle in the, blue and gold, then pinks that they've chosen for this, and the word 50th and magic and that sort of stuff. I haven't seen really anything inspired yet to come out of the 50th. I'm hoping for some cool commemorative stuff. None of it really has the same charm as the castle cake, in my opinion.
The only thing that really tickled my fancy was the 2022 Disney poster art calendar that came out that is 50th inspired based on like stuff from 71.
Yeah, it's all 71 art.
I will tell you, Tim, uninspired is too kind a word to say about this iridescent crap that we're getting. Man,
it's crap. I agree. All right, yeah. All right, yeah, you said it.
I'll be honest. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, but for the 50th anniversary, you should love it.
Listen, I'm going to be the party pooper here. I don't get anniversaries. I'm an anti-anniversary guy.
Okay.
All right. What does Amy think about this?
We don't really celebrate anniversaries either. I don't, it's the same thing in the video game world and the movie world. I want my special edition 40 years of Black Cauldron DVD. Who gives a shit? I don't know. Maybe it's just me being a hater.
Not you.
But
not you.
Not me. I'm not an anniversary. I don't need specialty 50th anniversary merch. To me, I don't know. It doesn't.
Maybe a little pin, a little trinket, little
No, I
keychain.
don't care. I don't. Even if I went, I mean, I wouldn't mind buying like a Disney
mug.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to say 50th. Now, if it had the 25th anniversary cake castle on there, that's a different story.
Much different story.
I don't even need to say 25. I just want the cake.
All right.
That's my soapbox. Okay.
All right, last piece of parks news before we roll on. Disney Enchantment. We got some details on the new show that is replacing, I almost said Wishes. It is not Wishes.
Happily Ever After.
Happily Ever After. My bad. Slipped my mind right there. It's been so long. This new show will feature quite a few Disney movies with beloved characters from Princess and the Frog. Getting a lot of love lately, much to Bub's, big thumbs up for him.
Top 5. Love it.
Coco, Luca, new favorite there. Wreck-It Ralph, Tangled, Soul, another great new one. Zootopia, Beauty and the Beast, and Disney Guys Uncensored favorite of Drew DeFusco specifically, Alice in Wonderland making an appearance. I'm just giving you a hard time.
It's funny because I detest Alice in Wonderland, but it works in the theme park setting. This is a great collection of movies to have a nighttime show based around. This is excellent. And but Alice in Wonderland lends itself to this type of presentation. I have no problems with this.
I don't either. It's just an odd film, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's fun.
I love the combination of old and new and traditional animation and new and computer animation, old school everything. So in addition, Disney announced a brand new original song will be featured in the show. It is entitled You Are the Magic by 7-time Grammy Award winner Philip Lawrence. And the show features stunning fireworks, projection mapping technology, and, of course, a flight from Tinkerbell. So everything you expect from a Castle Park nighttime spectacular. We will get you more details on that as we get them. I think that wraps up all the park news there is fit to print. But we're not done yet with the news, folks. Not even close. Got some dining updates for you. I really doubted this one, but I was wrong. Buffets are back. Fan favorite Boma at Animal Kingdom Lodge, one of the few restaurants that did not reopen in some sort of a modified form like most of the other buffets did, reopened this past weekend as a traditional buffet with their awesome combination of accessible food and really kind of unique and special African-inspired offerings. August 29th, sleeper hit, beer garden, heavily themed, awesome restaurant over there in the Germany Pavilion at World Showcase will be returning to serve its buffet-style Oktoberfest feast for lunch and dinner instead of the family-style dining they had been offering. And last but not least, Crystal Palace will return at the Magic Kingdom to switch from family style to buffet lunch and dinner. Hopefully with kind of some of the dishes they've been offering as a family style, because Crystal Palace was never known for anything big spectacular. It was known as a good character dining, and the new menu
solidly consistent, Tim.
Yeah, but the new menu they've had as a family style has gotten rave reviews from everyone. It just kind of elevated comfort food. So hopefully some of those dishes that people have learned to love recently stick around and head over to the buffet. Can't speak highly enough of what Boma does, because what it lets you do is maybe you don't want to commit to going to a Sanaa, and if you don't like that style of food, you're kind of stuck with what you ordered. Whereas Boma, you can try some biryani, try some curries, but also have the chicken tenders, the macaroni and cheese, the pasta with red sauce to fall back on if those African-inspired offerings aren't really for you. Also, all you can eat zebra domes. Where else are you going to find all you can eat? Just, pay the cost of admission, start loading up on that dessert buffet with zebra domes. You're going to make your money back pretty quick. Those things are pricey in the parks and at the bakery at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Other than that, we got the name and a fantastic logo for fallen brother, the Wave, at the Contemporary. It will be known as Steakhouse 71, 1971, obviously being the year Walt Disney World opened. It is a new casual-themed dining concept that gets its name from the resort's opening year. And it should be open in time for the 50th. The logo is awesome. It uses those browns and beiges that Walt Disney World uses a color palette when it opened. The 71 and the logo mark evokes the shape of the Contemporary Hotel. The font is awesome, and there was a very similar restaurant to this that actually, interestingly, Disney just closed to retheme at Disneyland, called Steakhouse 55, for the year that Disneyland opened. So just look forward to a steakhouse that has a theme around the history of Walt Disney World, and hopefully its food does the excellent food at the Wave justice. But the biggest dining story of the week is details for Space 220. It's really coming, folks. Are you ready for an out-of-this-world dining experience at Epcot? Then prepare for liftoff, because Space 220 restaurant at Epcot begins service in the stars mid-September. An immersive dining experience. What's up, Bob? Sounds like you want to interrupt my prepared
They still
Space
won't commit to a
spiel.
goddamn date, Tim. They're like, well, mid-September, maybe mid-September.
Did you expect a hard anything?
Won't commit.
They can't
It's
do
2 years in the making.
2 years. It's longer than 2 years. This was you talked about this on the first episode of this podcast. This is episode 124, and we're bi-weekly now, folks. Yeah, so it is opening in middle of next month, and we don't have a hard date yet. We do have a chef's name. We do have a concept. We don't have a menu, but we have a concept. It is an immersive dining experience that begins as you check in to the Space 220 Departure Lounge in Future World. From there, you'll board a space elevator, possibly a repurposed hydrolator from Sea Lab. The world may never know. As you ascend 220 miles above Earth to the Century Space Station. As you begin your ascent, you can look down through a viewport to see as Epcot shrinks away, and look above you to see the space station come into view. Space 220 will feature freeze-dried ice cream, all sorts of weird food in packets. No, folks, it will not. It'll feature stellar gourmet dishes in a 2-course prefix menu for lunch and a 3-course prefix for dinner. This is upscale, contemporary fare that will bring new meaning to the height of dining. And rounding out the meal will be unique beverage offerings, from fine wines to an atmospheric cocktail menu. I'm not surprised that this is a fine dining prefix. The restaurant, obviously, if it had opened on time, was a big investment for Disney. They have to recoup these costs. Also, the chef whose name was announced when we covered this 2 weeks ago, his background is exclusively been at high-end country clubs throughout the American Southeast. So this was always going to be, American classic high-end. I'll be interested to see how they put like a space spin on this, because this guy very much seems to be a prime rib and composed salads sort of guy. But we'll have to see. I think it's funny that it's finally opening, and I want to see how they fill up the reservations, because there's so many fine dining options at Epcot that are genuinely fantastic that this has to bring you in past the one time you try it out for the theming. Bub?
Yeah, so Tim, that's my problem right there, is that Epcot didn't need this type of restaurant. Epcot didn't need this when World Showcase is a quarter mile away with some of the best fine dining on property. I can't, for the life of me. I was thinking Mars 2112. Apparently, that you're welcome, America. By the way, but
classic.
I just can't believe that this space concept, which seems so ready for families to eat at. Not to say that a family's not going to sit down and have a prefix 2-course dinner for lunch or a two-course meal for lunch.
But I mean, it's the same thing that's offered in the castle, which is exclusively family.
What they needed was a garden grill type style, right? That had Mickey and Minnie walk around in their spacesuits.
I'm not willing to go that far.
No, I don't think you need that because I mean, you have the 8K screens that form the space windows. You got this elevator. It's a ride to freaking go up to the thing in the first place. But yeah, I'm not sure why this is not just like fun a la carte food or a fun family style meal.
Tim, you could have the 8K screens. You would still draw families. Kids
that's what I'm saying.
Space. Like I for the life of me when I saw this today, and I said to you guys, I don't know what I expected. I just don't know that I expected it to be like this upscale dining experience.
I think it's going to come down to, but we keep saying upscale. We really and the Fitz meals, sure, but we still don't know the price. I don't believe. So that's going to be
pretty expensive.
Well, I think that's.
I mean, we don't know.
The big one, right? So I think that makes the difference, right, Bob? I think that's going to be. Is it $40 a person or is it $80 a person? Right? I think that's what we're getting to, where we don't know, and you are going to pay for the experience. You are going to pay for the technology, but by doing that, I'm just telling you from my point of view, for kids and Bob, you too. I don't care how good the food is. $80 for like and I'm going to bring it up, a non-character dine-in is a lot of money when you have other options.
Should have taken the yellow pill, Drew. Would have had dining plan for life.
It's one thing if me and my wife are going, I don't mind paying a little extra. It's a unique experience. But when you're going with your kids and it's a pre-fixed meal and sure, space is cool. I don't know. I don't know. There's other options.
To Bub's point about the World Showcase, like Takumi Tai over in the Japan Pavilion is, according to most people, second only to Victoria and Albert's, or according to past guests of the show, as she said when she was on here, Carly Wiesel, she thinks it's better than Victoria and Albert's. So price point wise, if that is comparable to this, why am I spending the money to go to Novelty Space Restaurant when one of the best restaurants in the country is a walk away sort of thing? It seems to not fill a needed niche in the current layout of Epcot specifically, and I'm very interested to see how far they're going to try to get on the unique experience of the restaurant as opposed to the food once we see the price point.
Well, you think about what you lost in the middle of Epcot in the last 2 years. You lost the entirety of Electric Umbrella. Allegedly, Electric Umbrella is going to reopen in some capacity at some point. But I question the need for this type of dining experience at Epcot. That's my concern.
Yeah,
a strong family, affordable restaurant. That's what they need. Because I'm not putting my kids
the money. I think
it is.
Like,
no, I agree, Drew. Because I think right now it's the pizza place in Italy. You're only like,
and do not sleep on Via Napoli, by the way. Via Napoli, for all of its it's a pizza place, is exceptional. Probably the best pizza on property.
It's awesome. I'm just saying that as far as your like affordable sit downs that you can bring kids to in Epcot, it pretty much starts at Garden Grill, which is always booked up.
Ashtakus, but that's
soccer shoots.
Bob's not going to bring his kids there because it is very Norwegian style food, and that's not even open right now anyway.
Style, I mean, that's fine. Yeah. This doesn't fill a need to me at Epcot. This just is a superfluous restaurant for Epcot in terms of fine dining. And we beat a dead horse with this, but
we did.
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
the one thing I do want to say is when Disney uses the word fine dining to describe a restaurant, because they have said the dining plan is coming back, this will be a 2-credit restaurant.
Correct.
That is what fine dining means when Disney uses that. So
we do have the barbecue, the barbecue over at American Adventure. I guess
that's a quick service though. That's still not.
I thought they had. Well, they had some seating, but you're right. It is quick service.
Yeah, there's no table service over there.
Well, I'm literally running through the countries right now saying, it's Garden Grill is pretty much it.
That's where you go if you want a nice sit down meal with your family. That's
for
where
just
you go.
A standard, like just.
And it's okay.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yep. This is a weird quote unquote payoff to like a 2.5-year really tortured, troubled saga with this incredibly expensive, ambitious restaurant they built.
I'm sure it'll do well.
All right, another
or
huge.
It'll be closed in 7 months.
I have a feeling this is more NBA experience than Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Speaking of which, we have pricing for the Galactic Star Cruiser, and guys, guess what? It's really expensive, like everybody figured. It is unreal how expensive this thing ended up being. The prices they give, which in the fine print, that this is like weeknight stays. 2 guests per cabin, aka room, $1,209 per guest per night, which is their way of hiding the fact that you can only book this as 2 nights, 3 days. So that is $4,809 per voyage. 3 guests per cabin. That voyage is going to set you back $5,299. That is at $889 per guest per cabin. And 4 guests. That is with 2 adults, 1 child pricing.
Yeah,
and when they say child, we had Jordana look it up through her travel channels with Walt Disney Company or Walt Disney Travel Company. Child means the standard Disney definition of child, which is what, 9?
Yeah, 3 to 9.
3 to 9. So 10-year-old, you are going to be paying $1,209 per guest per night, and for double occupancy. 4 guests per cabin per night, 3 adults, 1 child, $749 per guest, or $6,000 for your voyage. That does include a galactic access band, I think is what they're calling it, although in parentheses, it is a limited edition magic band that you can only get for staying on the Star Cruiser. So maybe you throw that bad boy up on eBay and try to recoup some of the costs. Features lightsaber technology is included in your stay. To use, length of stay, not to take with you. Man, this is nuts. I got some thoughts, but I'll let you guys go first.
Drew, please. I've ranted enough tonight.
I almost think it's a little confusing, right? How it says like the 3 adults, 1 child. Obviously, there's limitations on sleeping arrangements in the room. But what if 4 buddies wanted to go? Like to not stay. You have to get 2 rooms.
Oh no, you totally can. This is just their way to make that still be $5,999 because you have a 9-year-old in there who costs less. So when you put 4 people, you don't have to put $6,500 for this experience.
Gotcha. Okay. So, I mean, overall, what is it? 2 nights?
2 nights, 3 days. Yeah. And one of those
just
days,
so we're clear, at $1,209 per person for 4 people, for us 4 and Jay to go to this when it opens, $9,600.
Well, so it is lower because once you go up to the 4 occupants, like the higher occupancies, the cost does go down. But as Drew said, it is confusing because they throw that child in there to obscure what the per adult cost for the quadruple occupancy is.
I'm not sure 4 adults would be able to stay in the room. The cabins are. I don't know if they can. I think you'd have. I think it was 4 adults. It would have to be 2 of the adults would have to be willing to share a queen bed because it's 2 bunks. And then a bed in the 4-person room. Well, Jay's like 6'5", so he's not sleeping in the bunk.
All right. So
Jay's got a spot. I'll be in a bunk because.
Anyways, I mean, overall, it's going to be obviously an experience like no other. If you're a Star Wars nerd, I mean, this is for you. You got to look at it, the price of a cruise. I mean, this obviously doesn't include airfare. It's trying to include the experience of a lifetime. Now, this doesn't even include park tickets if you want. I mean,
it does include. It includes your park ticket for the day you go into Galaxy's Edge as part of the experience. But you're correct. In fact, on the announcement for this pricing, for the details for the experience, it said, and please talk to your travel agent to include, because you cannot extend this stay. You cannot book more than 1 stay. So you do have the option to add resort dates before and after and park tickets so that this could be a part of your Disney experience. Your $6,000 three-day, 2-night voyage can be only part of your Walt Disney World vacation experience.
So I did read an article where they compared this to like a high-end room at the Grand Floridian. And the Grand Floridian obviously was like $2,500 cheaper than this for the 2-night stay with the people. But they did kind of go out of the way to explain you don't get that straight access to Galaxy's Edge. And can you really put a price on that right now based on how things are going with Galaxy's Edge? And you can put a price on it. Obviously, it's a one-day ticket, so it's $120 per person, most likely. But the front-of-the-line access, it is one of those things that this is a much different experience than what you're doing at Grand Floridian or Polynesian or Contemporary or Boardwalk. Drew, you said it. This is specific to that super Star Wars fan in your life that has disposable income, that knows going in it's $6,000 for him and his wife and his daughter and his son to go to this and do this. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing you're going to do. I question how sustainable this model is at these price points.
I mean, if, like you said, you look at it from the point of view of what it's about $1,200 for an adult to go, right? Per night. But, so even if you break that down of, like you said, Bubba, a high-end room at $500 or $600 a night, you're still spending. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that
you're putting towards. And you go here. If me and you went on a trip and we were going for a week, me and you were going golf, and we're going to do this. We're going to stay here 2 nights.
We're spending $8,000
for me and you for just
total.
this portion. For me and you, just this portion is $4,800.
Yeah, but you could add in the flights and the food, and if you didn't go to a different park.
Well, so I want to push back on Bub's Grand Floridian comparison. Just say this does include all your food for the experience.
That's what I said. I said it was an entirely different experience, and it's hard to compare the two. It's hard to compare the two.
Anybody on a cruise.
Just like a cruise, I believe there is an upcharge dining option for one of the 2 nights dinners. I believe the Crown of Corellia dining room, which was featured in the concept art, and some of the dishes were shown at the same time this pricing reveal was done. And then there is a captain's table experience that is available as an additional charge for people who really want to go deep on this. I just want to say, you're talking about this is for Star Wars super fans with disposable income. I feel like in a lot of ways I am the absolute target audience for this. I've been a Star Wars fan my entire life. It has been my favorite thing in the world at times. Currently, I don't have kids. My wife and I, 2 incomes, no kids, and we could afford to do this. I just can't imagine thinking that this is the best way to spend that kind of money. This is a similar amount of money, or not that much less money than I spent to go to Japan for 2 weeks and do some things that were like on my lifetime bucket list. I just think if you're going to spend this kind of money on a vacation and that is something you want to do, that there are things that you can do, that there are vacations you could take with that money that are going to make memories and give you adventures that aren't this manufactured illusory experience, no matter how much of a Star Wars fan you are. Like, it seems so hard to justify that this is going to be worth it to spend that much money to eat blue shrimp cocktail and a weird charcuterie board with like freeze-dried cheese and like, foam and skip the line at Rise of the Resistance. I don't know. It's a hard sell. I talked to my wife about it a bunch because she was like, well, you're going to do it, right? And I was like, I don't know. I think the only way I do this is if I see like a really in-depth write-up from a travel writer that I trust a lot. And after all the NDAs and stuff are gone, to see really what this experience ends up entailing. So please give us some feedback on your guys' thoughts on this. If this is something you would do, or something that's on your bucket list, or what you think of these prices, or what the price point for you to want to do this with, a weekend with the guys or the girls, or if this is part of a family vacation or what. But yeah, I don't get blindsided by a lot of Disney cost stuff, but this one really kind of threw me for a loop. All right, moving on. Parks news. Actually, that is it for Parks news. I'm going to throw it over to Drew for something he's very excited about, and I know very, very little about. Staying with the cruising theme, although instead of cruising the stars, we're going to cruise the high seas. Drew, let's get some updates on Disney Cruise Line.
Yeah, Disney Cruise Line and Disney Wish, specifically super pumped for it. As you guys know, I have my Disney Wish booked for next August, set sail in June. So before that, we got Disney Cruises are back, folks. The Dream set sail earlier this August. The Disney Magic, but Disney Magic is set to sail yet. Late August, I don't know if it did or not yet. Very soon if it has not. The Fantasy is set to return September 11th, and of course the Disney Wish is still being built, but will be set next summer. Now, recently, what I want to talk about is the Disney Wish has announced a new, adventure. They're calling it the Disney Uncharted Adventure, and they use it through the Play app, which many of you may or may not know for the Disney Play app that's interacted with the Disney parks. It's essentially an AR with characters, and it's pretty cool. So what you do is if you plan on going on the Wish, your journey starts before your trip even begins with interacting on the phone and the app. The best way to describe it is if you ever played the Pokemon Go game, right, with AR, where you have your Pokemon and you have these characters in real life things. So you usually will use your phone. And you're going to go around the ship, and you're going to see real-life Disney characters, on the ship. And it follows the worlds of Moana, Princess and the Frog, Peter Pan, love it, and Finding Nemo. And they essentially describe it as unlocking adventures, solving puzzles, and conquering quests to essentially save the day. So they describe it, almost like you have to do these things. The best way I can also describe it, if you ever played Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, right? That's what it's called. Where you go by a lamppost, it looks like an ordinary lamppost, but if you're playing the game and you use your phone, that lamppost is going to have Tinkerbell stuck inside of it, and you have to find a way to save her out of that lamppost. That's what this is, and it's throughout the boat. You'll be literally on your boat looking into the ocean, and you hold your phone up. You will see Moana in the sea next to you on her boat, and she'll yell to you, and you have to talk to her, and she'll say, "Follow me," and you have these missions, and you have to choose, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to New Orleans? Do you want to go to Neverland? And you can try to follow that quest. It sounds really cool. Really, I'm excited to do this with my kids, especially. The other thing is, if you are cruising between now and I believe end of November-ish, the Bahamas have declared that they are requiring vaccination cards to be entered into any of their islands, including the ports of Nassau, including Castaway Cay, Disney's private island that is technically in the Bahamas, which means you need to prove that you're vaccinated to even get off the boat. It doesn't mean you can't go on your cruise. You still can. You just cannot leave the boat anywhere in the Bahamas itself. So something to think about before you set sail. And again, that's only currently until the end of November of this year. Who knows if that gets extended or whatnot.
If you are planning on cruising and your Disney cruise is scheduled to stop in Nassau or Castaway Cay, pay attention to the news. As we went to record tonight, the CDC just added the Bahamas to the Category 4 Do Not Travel list for U.S. residents. In the last week, they have had over 500 cases per 100,000. That puts them in rarefied company with India and some other countries that are currently getting devastated by COVID. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Disney kind of change up its itineraries and maybe keep it only to Castaway Cay, where Disney has full control over who goes in and out. But that is also the reason why the Bahamian government has added the vaccine requirement. They need to try to get things under control in their country as COVID is rapidly spiking there. Yeah, so just keep that in mind if you're planning on cruising to the Bahamas anytime soon.
Also in news, Disney Plus, just a reminder, folks, Cruella, if you have not seen it yet, comes to Disney Plus this Friday, August 27th. Tim, Bob, who's excited for this one?
I'm watching this Friday. I'm very excited.
I'm excited as well. Bob?
Yeah, I got some birthday parties this weekend, but we'll try to fit it in.
Yeah, absolutely. So that will be available to everybody that is subscribed to Disney Plus. You don't have to pay for this. Also, rumors, Emma Stone signed on to Cruella 2. I saw that in the news the other day. It looks like they will be making a sequel or a prequel. I don't know. Didn't watch it yet. Don't know how it ended. But we will see from there. Also, Disney stores, as we know and love, the giant mountain of stuffed animals has come and gone. And now the second phase of the Disney store seems like it's coming to an end. They say there's only going to be about 25 Disney stores left in the country by the end of September. And they also announced at the same time that a lot of these stores are moving back into this Target kiosk section concept.
Which they announced at D23 in 2019.
Correct, but they announced today or yesterday that Target will be adding over 160 more stores by the end of 2021. Because I know there's a lot of stores that don't have this. So we should see more and more, hopefully, near your local Target. Comments here for you guys?
That's sad to see Disney stores go. It was a mall staple.
And the last item here to talk about is the pop-up Pixar Putt Mini Golf. This is literally what I just said, a pop-up mini golf that is going on tour of the nation. The first stop is in New York City. So if you live in the area or you plan on visiting New York City, this is going to be...
it's right down there in Battery Park at the piers. It's right next to the Governor's Island Ferry and the Staten Island Ferry.
I don't forgive me. I don't know. I don't have the dates here. I don't remember if you guys remember said how long it runs.
It runs through October.
Okay.
Yeah, it runs Halloween.
If you go online and look at the pictures, it's fantastic. There's all Pixar themed courses. It matches
fully Imagineered.
Yeah, I mean it's colorful. The course layout's looks fun. Even the clubs and the different balls. It reminds me of the Universal Studios City Walk courses. The Bob, you know what I'm talking about.
The Alien Encounter, and then I don't know what the other one. The other is a horror themed one. Is the other one? Monsters. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So check that out. They haven't announced. They said it was going to be a pop up on tour. I don't think they announced any other locations quite yet, but. I'm assuming they'll continue the tour.
You should mention tickets sell out very quickly and very limited availability, and it's digital tickets only.
Yeah, yes, you have to buy. You have to buy and reserve your time in advance from the website. So just Google pop-up Pixar Putt Mini Golf. It'll take you to the site. And then if you're in the Northeast and you're interested in doing the Lower Manhattan pop-up between now and Halloween, you got to reserve your time and pre-purchase. Don't plan on just rolling up there, taking the subway down to the end of the line in the financial district and showing up to play some golf, because it's not going to happen for you. So just plan ahead and know where there's a lot of COVID restrictions going on right now, again, in New York City.
Well, boys, that might have been the longest news segment we've ever done on this show. And if the listeners are still here, buckle up, because we're not done yet. We are going to unwrap, or dare I say, let the genie out of the bottle. What is Genie? Outside of perhaps one of the greatest animated characters of all time, Genie is a veritable FastPass Plus replacement. And before you get going crazy, FastPass Plus, we love that. Well, revisionist history, as Tim will tell you, tells me that you all loved FastPass Plus. On this show, we've always told you FastPass Plus sucks. And guys, I think Genie is a better alternative to FastPass Plus. Drew, Tim, before we go into the real breakdown of it, opening thoughts, is Genie, right off the rip, a better service in your opinion?
Yes, it is. Here.
I have no idea, but at the end of the day, this was a necessary service.
I like that answer.
As we talk about this, I will explain my position that at the end of the day, no matter who the CEO of Disney was, whether it's Bob Chapek or Bob Iger or Walt Disney or Roy Disney, this was the only option in 2021 to avoid skyrocketing ticket prices and infinite waits.
Well, rest assured, Tim, if Michael Eisner was still in charge, this would have happened years ago.
Love that guy. Anyways, but what is Genie
What is Genie, Drew? Genie is coming to the Walt Disney World Resort and Disneyland Resort this fall. It is a complimentary, kind of, and convenient new digital service designed to create your best Disney day. Listen, you'll be able to personalize your itineraries. You can seamlessly map out an entire day, specific attractions, food experiences, entertainment. You can, what you do with Netflix. Yes, I like Stranger Things. Yes, I like Riverdale. Yes, I like this. And then it kind of gives you a menu of what you might like. So, for instance, Tim, diehard Star Wars fan. He likes Star Wars. They're going to tell him to go to Star Wars Launch Bay. But Tim, being the seasoned traveler that he is not going to go to Disney's Star Wars Launch Bay. If Drew does it, he likes the princesses, mostly because they're hot, but also because Zoe is a little girl and loves to dress up as a princess. So they're going to tell Drew, they're going to tell Drew to go to Enchanted Tales by Belle, and Drew's going to go because last time he was there, he was the knight in that show. Interactivity, folks. That's what it's all about. Ultimately, Pixar's an option. Villains, Star Wars, thrill rides. Just tell Disney Genie what you like and what you want to do, and Genie will plan your day. The one thing I can't tell you here is that Robin Williams will not be a part of this experience. All right.
Oof. Real down note to Anthony's description of Genie on there, Bub.
So guys, real quick, obviously, this is an extremely interactive, customizable addition to the My Disney Experience app, because that's where you're going to find the Genie service. Tim, let's be honest, you and Drew, you guys go to the parks a little differently than I do. Drew especially gets up first thing in the morning and goes to the parks. I go later in the day. We've discussed that over 125 episodes. We've discussed that 100 times, that me and Drew don't do the parks the same way. So Tim, you get up early in the morning, you crack open Genie. What are your first thoughts on this potential service for how streamlined and how interactive it's going to be and how customizable it'll be?
I mean, I think before we get into this, there was a way that originally you wanted to jump into this discussion of Genie, and that was on social media's reaction to Genie. And right. I think I could say, without any kind of controversial opinion, it has been overwhelmingly negative. We have never seen anything like this. The Disney Parks blog official YouTube channel and the Disney Parks official YouTube video channel put out a series of YouTube videos, and we are seeing 10-to-1 YouTube dislikes to likes. The numbers are like more reactions than Disney typically gets to these sort of videos. Mm-hmm. And I think a big part of that, honestly, is for whatever reason, Disney had someone who's not normally a public-facing person walk people through this radical new service. They had the lead software developer for this system be the one to talk people through this new system, and he was obviously not super comfortable in camera, obviously is not used to kind of, like being the Josh D'Amaro, Joe Rohde, even Bob Chapek on these videos. So I don't think that did it the biggest service. But I'm happy to open up My Disney Experience, click on that Genie tab, and get my day started when I'm in the parks, to be honest, at this point. Because what this is, at the end of the day, as poorly as Disney has done a job of explaining it, is this is using algorithms and AI to better manage crowds, to get each individual guest their most efficient path to through the park in the way, as much as it can, in the way that takes their preferences into account. And the other thing that I feel like is being really largely forgotten about this is you are not a slave to the Genie. You are not bound to your wishes to the Genie. If that is not what you want to do, not only can you swipe left and say, why is Genie suggesting this to me? Or pick it all, just straight up pick an alternative. You could just ignore your Genie plan and stand in those standby lines and do what you want to do. But if you follow the Genie's plan, in theory, it is going to make your day go smoother and easier and better balance the crowds within the given theme park you are in. That's my take on it. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I see this.
True.
I mean, if Genie's going to try to tell me on boat rides, I'm out. I mean, that's simple as that. I mean, but how do you be mad at a feature, named after the big blue friendly guy himself? I mean, Genie, it's just it's a happy-go-lucky thing. But no, I think Tim nailed it. I mean, it's you can't be upset over an optional experience. Obviously, we're going to get into a little bit more of the Fast Pass plus replacement and the cost associated with stuff like that. But talking about right now, strictly the itinerary features that helps plan your day. I mean, if it's telling you, if you follow my itinerary, you're going to get 2 more attractions a day. I mean, shit, why not? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like Tim said, it's using statistics and facts. I mean, it.
We love those here on this show.
Science doesn't lie, Bub. Science doesn't lie.
I mean, at this point, too, this has been the business model of several external to Disney companies have been selling data-based itineraries to people going to the parks that ignore FastPass for years. Listen, and Disney has just seen that as the opportunity to walk in and do that themselves, where they have the whole picture of the data. It's not extrapolated data.
I'm going to use a very simple analogy for you people out there that don't understand this. When you get in your car and you pull up your phone and you do on Waze app or Apple Maps, whatever it is, and it gives you different routes based on the different time of the day, are you going to choose the route, however the hell you want to say it, that's the longest time, or are you going to choose the one that says, this is going to get you there the fastest, right? You're always going to pick the fastest one. That's what this is. That's what Genie's doing. It's evaluating the traffic in the park, and it's saying, go do A, B, and C in this order. Follow that route. Don't go to Adventureland route. That's traffic right now. It's simple. That is
surprisingly succinct from my co-host. Mic drop. If we thought it was socially acceptable to drop our mics on the table while you were listening to this show, we could drop Mike Drew's explanation of that. But guys, and I think to Tim's point, the real problem that people are having with this service, everything we just talked about, the virtual queuing, everything like that, the reservation making, the mobile food ordering, all that's included. It's free of charge. It's a vacation planner in the My Disney Experience app. Like Tim said, there's third-party sites that have been doing it for years, that it's kind of the same concept. It's Disney's doing their own version of it now. It's very straightforward. It's very easy to use. It's really no different than what you're doing with My Disney Experience now, other than it's going to be under the Genie tab. What really was the kicker for people is that this is going to be the FastPass Plus replacement. And to understand that, we are talking about FastPass Plus not coming back to the parks, which is something on this show we have talked about numerous times. It was the basis for this show to exist, was that Andrew asked me, what's the biggest problem with Disney? I said to him, FastPass Plus. Obviously, everybody knows that. And we've been beating that drum for 2.5 years, that we hate FastPass Plus, and we're not going to flip-flop back now saying how great of a service it was because Disney wants to charge us $15 for FastPass Plus rights now. That's correct, folks, because Disney Genie Plus, because that's the thing Disney does now, just puts a plus sign at the end of everything.
Makes sense.
The Disney Genie Plus service is going to be $15 per ticket per day at Walt Disney World. So family of 4 there for a 5-day vacation. Drew, real quick with the math. Let's say $300
$300
for a family of 4 for an extra $300. And in Disneyland, because it's a California tax, it's $20 a ticket per day.
Well, so they've actually commented on that. It's because Max Pass was charged. And this is the one thing I do take issue with. It's the exact same service offered in the 2 different parks. And their only justification for charging more in Disneyland is that they were already charging for the equivalent of FastPass Plus in Disneyland.
I don't think you can compare the two, Tim. I think that's 2 different ball games. I don't think you can look at what profits Disneyland makes versus the profits in Disney World. And I think you can charge whatever the hell you want in California. I mean, California is more expensive to live, more expensive to buy shit than it is to fly. I think it's apples to orange. I think it's hard.
I mean, admittedly, I was only kidding with the California tax, but yes, I was. But ultimately, yes, it is $5 more in California for the 2-park access as opposed to $5 less than 4-park access on the East Coast. So this is going to let you choose the next available time to arrive at a variety of attractions. So this is basically same-day Fast Passes. So this gives us the convenience of Fast Pass Plus, because if one thing Fast Pass Plus was convenient, you did it all electronically on your phone. You didn't have to run to attractions to get tickets. The beauty of the original Fast Pass system was you had to be in the park, and you didn't have to worry 60 days in advance of going into the parks and getting it. You could run up to Splash Mountain, Drew. We've done it before in our youth. Run to Splash Mountain, or let's use you run to Rock and Roller Coaster, get Rock and Roller Coaster, go wait at Tower of Terror. You then get the Tower of Terror Fast Pass, go wait at Rock and Roller Coaster. You can just do that all day and rock it back and forth. We've all done it. Every one of us has done it.
You get like 8 Fast Passes in a day. Maybe depends on, but you
and
could.
It was all physical. You had to do it. So this is kind of the best of both of those systems. It's convenient in the sense that it's handheld and it's on your device, and it's convenient that it is same day, so you don't have to get up 60 days in advance and realize that you got to go on Flight of Passage on day 7 of your trip at 10 o'clock at night, because that's the only time that's available. So
Jordana Izzo at JordanaIzzo.net is thanking us that she no longer has to do that.
At Travelmation.net.
Unless she has her own website now, which she might.
God knows. God bless her.
Also,
God bless her.
Spoiler
baby.
alert. During the recording of this episode, and technically speaking, we split the recording over 2 days, Jordana's baby is born. Happy birthday to Leo, who was very healthy at
7 pounds 3 ounces.
19 inches long.
Who cares about the length?
He's adorable. He's adorable.
It's not a bass.
Happy birthday, Leo. Anyway, I digress. So they give examples. We don't have the whole list of attractions available in this tier of the $15 and $20 tickets. For instance, they're going to call this Lightning Lane. Drew, Lightning McQueen getting some love. I know you like that.
Love it.
The Haunted Mansion, Big Thunder Mountain, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, all subject to availability, but those attractions will be available in the $15 tier. It's really what they're considering the next evolution of the Fast Pass and Max Pass. It will also include Disney Parks themed audio experiences and photo features to capture your memories, augmented reality lenses, which Drew talked about on the Disney Wish, that they're going to have on the Wish, Drew, as well. And it's going to be able, unlimited, for those visiting Walt Disney World and with unlimited Disney Photo Pass. They will be on this portion of the app as well. So, guys, really, the $15 gets you pretty much the Tier B. And we're speculating on this point, but the Tier B attractions on the Fast Pass Plus system is what it seems like. Is that fair, Drew?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, we don't have the whole list.
We don't. I mean, just think of those rides that we just mentioned, right? That they're just below the big thrill rides or the big ones, and just like everything below that. So every boat ride.
Right. Every boat ride, Drew. Every boat ride. And inevitably, Tim, it always comes back to boat rides. Tim, $15 a day, you and Rachel going to the parks. Are you in for Disney Genie Plus?
No. And
wow.
I honestly don't think, and this is another thing that's come up online, that there's this weird belief that everybody is going to pay the $15. I bet you Disney doesn't release numbers, but I bet you that when we get the numbers from the reliable news sources, it's going to be less than 5 or 10% of people.
But I think that's a win-win.
It 100% is. 100%
win-win for everything. But that's what people don't get.
If we look at these last almost year now of data we have of people since FastPass Plus has gone away and the parks have reopened, even your Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which is an overwhelmingly popular attraction with a very low hourly capacity, it has basically maxed out, no matter how busy the parks are, at a 55-minute wait, which is a shorter wait than it was during Fast Pass Plus.
But people don't get that. Like we said, will you be waiting longer for rides than if you had a Fast Pass? Yes, but your average wait time should be the same or less, right?
Much less. Not even the same. Much less.
I guess it depends on how many Fast Passes you received and if you want to wait 3 hours or not, right? But essentially, you should be able to go on more attractions, but you might be waiting on an average of 20, 25 minutes for a ride, on average, right? But you should never have that 2 hour wait or 3 hour wait. Those should essentially go away. The interesting thing here for me, though, really is, just like back in the day when we had the Fast Pass tickets, like Bub just described, my problem or my concern is if I get up early that day and I book a 10 o'clock, Fast Pass for Peter Pan's flight. Once I go on Peter Pan's flight and I want to then go on Seven Dwarf Mine Train, right? Or whatever, let's Splash Mountain. What's going to be my first availability? I'm nervous that the first availability is going to be like 2 o'clock. And then I'm going to start getting a little upset and angry, right? Mm-hmm. That I only could use 2 to 3 Fast Passes a day. Now, if I did off Peter Pan's flight at 10:30 and my next Fast Pass is available for 11, I'm all in. But we don't know yet what those are going to be. Am I going to get 7 to 8 Fast Passes a day, or am I going to get 2 to 4? And I just don't think we know. To Tim's point, we don't know how many people are doing this yet. So we don't know. And we don't know the reservations. What's Disney doing? How many are they allowing to get? So that's my concern here.
But that was the self-defeating part of Fast Pass Plus. Because when Fast Pass Plus came about, it was supposed to be this better version of the paper Fast Passes, where you could book it in advance and there wasn't that uncertainty of the day of having to go to that kiosk and be the first one to rush up to the kiosk and get the good time. You could book it in advance. But what happened is, as more and more people are going to the parks, all of a sudden, 60 days out, 10 minutes later, your Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, your Flight of Passage, your Peter Pan, your Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, those were gone. So Disney had to increase the number of Fast Passes they gave out every day for those. Yep. But with Fast Pass came an expectation that the line was going to be shorter. And now you're entered into this deal with the devil where everyone in the Fast Pass line has a Fast Pass. And there's really no limit to the number of people who have the Fast Pass for the attraction. But they also have an expectation they're not going to wait. So what it means is every person in the Fast Pass line makes the line that much longer for the people in the standby line. And it worsens the guest experience.
That's the broken process we've been pitching forever, right?
Episode 12. Way
12?
back.
8. 12, you're right. But here's my other concern, too, is like, I just look at my mom, for example, right? Mid-60s, it's like, she doesn't even really know how to use a smartphone. So the 60-day thing was nice for her. She could have somebody help her plan and book her trip. I cannot see my mom the morning of trying to go on her phone through Genie and book a Fast Pass. So to your point, Tim, does that mean a lot of other people are going to say, I don't even know how to do this, I'm frustrated? Are they going to try to go to one of these stupid kiosks in the parks and say, oh, can you help me book a Fast Pass? It's going to be a shit show, right? For those... And that might be 5%. I don't know. Maybe it's 20%. I don't know what percentage of guess that is, especially in 2021. But I don't know. I mean, anything else?
But it's not the catch-22 of the situation, though.
Yeah, I mean, that should have forced those people not to do it.
Because there's people that have, like Tim said, you couldn't book the right Fast Passes 60 days out anyway. Unless you were staying for 10 days, and then on day 9 and 10, because technically speaking, you could only book the first 10 days of your trip, you could get those Fast Passes.
And then you fell into... Yeah, no, you're right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So really, at the end of the day, the biggest thing here, the biggest change is, one, to answer your question, I think the magic number is 4 to 6 Fast Passes. It doesn't mean that it's going to be Space, Thunder, Seven Dwarfs, Pirates, Peter Pan, and Splash. You're not going to get all those in a day.
Agreed.
Those all in a day Fast Pass Plus anyway. And for the people that are screaming at their radios right now saying, well, I booked 3 Fast Passes within the first hour and a half of my day because of the way they overlapped, and I was able to get that 4th Fast Pass. You don't need a 4th Fast Pass for Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. I'm sorry, you don't. You don't need it. And on one happenstance that you happen to catch the right Fast Pass for the 4th because it was a slower day at the park, then great.
Yeah.
But that was the exception to the rule. Your first 3 fast passes were probably rides you wanted to go on. The 4th fast pass, 7 times out of 10 was a fast pass you did not need, but you felt good about it because you got it. But it was for a ride you didn't need.
But even to that point, Bob, is then you get into the extreme gamification, and you talk about Rachel and I going to the park. This is what we were into, was 60 days out, you're booking your fast passes, or us, we were booking trips like 10 days out, right? So you take whatever fast passes you can get, and then we are the ones who are standing there right outside the queue, and you book a Winnie the Pooh fast pass, a Monsters Inc. Last 4 fast pass.
That's a good use. Winnie the Pooh's good use. I'll allow
right. But then we're the ones who know that the way the computer system works, you're only booking that to get a reservation inside the system, and then you're hitting modify and then swiping down to refresh and gaming the system to grab the person who canceled their fast pass or didn't make their reservation.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we are the people making the problem worse. It's the quote-unquote Disney insiders. And at the same time, how many times when you've finally given up and stood in the standby line for a popular attraction are you talking to a family behind you or a couple behind you who says, I'm never coming back to Disney World because we've been here for 3 days and we've only been on 4 rides, because they had no idea that FastPass Plus existed.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think on top of that, right, you have avenues like podcasts like us. You have social media. You have forums. You have Reddit. All of these, you have Facebook groups. All this information that you just spoke about, which was the 1% population, is now the 40% population. And you have everybody gaming the system, which breaks FastPass Plus even more than it did 2 years ago when we talked about it, because it's going to continue to grow and snowball effect. But anyways, Bob, this is only half of Genie.
Listen, if you're in line, and your number one complaint, if you're at Disney World and you're in line for Winnie the Pooh, and you're pissed because you've only been on 4 rides in 3 days, and you're never coming again, you know what my problem, you know what my solution is? Don't fucking come.
No, that's not the correct solution, because I think Disney did a...
It is.
No, because Disney... I think...
No, Tim. Andrew said it. There are, and I'm guessing here, 100,000 Disney podcasts. There are no fewer than 15 different travel guides you could access. And by the way, in this day and age, every Tom, Dick, or Harry, and this is no disrespect to Jordana, sells their goddamn travel agency on their Facebook pages and their Twitters and their Instagrams. So it is on you, the person that traveled there. If you cannot seek out this information, it is all there for people. And I'm tired of that. Oh, we didn't know.
I have a huge counterpoint to this, because overwhelmingly, that person we're talking to is Irish, British, Brazilian, or Belgian, countries who have huge populations,
very specific,
huge populations of people who make trips to Disneyland yearly.
Yep.
But may not have a quote unquote Disney culture in their country of having podcasts, travel agents, etc.
Okay. Drew, how many countries Tim just mentioned are we in?
We're in all of them.
Okay. Counterpoint. How many of those people come on a singular family trip and don't go through a travel group or a travel agency that would help them with this?
They do come through a travel agency, especially, that's why specifically I named those countries, but my understanding is the people who book those specific packages through those nationalized travel agencies are not getting the same access to FastPass Plus, which is
shame on Disney for not giving it to them.
Yeah.
But still, don't come. There'll be more time for me to go on the ride.
Tim, I honestly get your take, right? And I believe me, I'm on Bub's side on this one, and I'm not against you. You bring a value point to the table, right? A lot of people say, shame on Disney for designing attractions, right? You pay a park ticket, right? If you, for example, let's just I'm good with the metaphors tonight. If you paid a ticket to the movie, you expect to see the whole movie. Right? All of it. You don't want to miss any of it. If you pay a ticket to an amusement park, your expectation for people, not everybody, certain people expect they get to go on whatever ride they want. Unfortunately, that's not allowed because of what we call line and queue capacity, ride throughput. So people like to blame Disney and say, you designed a ride.
That's every theme park in the world has that problem.
Listen, I don't disagree. I'm just explaining this, right? People who say you have 100,000 people walk through the Magic Kingdom gates a day. Let's just say that's on a busy day. Peter Pan's flight.
Seems high, but okay.
Yeah, it's more like a tenth of that, but okay.
It's not a tenth of that. It's like 30
it
or
is
40.
A tenth of it. It's like 10,000 people a day.
No way.
That's off topic. Drew, go ahead.
Anywho, 100,000 people. Peter Pan's flight can only handle 15,000 people. So they're going to say that there's that 85% of people that physically cannot go through that attraction. And yeah, that's it's a fact. And people.
Well, while your numbers might be high, Drew, you're absolutely right. Whether it's a 10,000 capacity and Peter Pan can get 5 through, or it's 100,000 capacity and Peter Pan can get 30 through, you still have 50% of your paying customers not being able to experience attractions based on hourly capacities. Right. Good news is you can spend $1,000 extra and go to their Christmas party, where you're almost guaranteed access to 25 different attractions.
So I mean, we've expressed it, right? We've only talked about half of Genie. Right. I think we need to now explain what Genie Plus is.
And like we said, let's just go on the assumption that is the B-level attractions, $15 a day. Hold on to them hats and glasses, folks, because for an undisclosed amount of money per attraction, you can get 2 premium experience attractions. Let's talk about this. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, considered a premium experience. Radiator Springs Racers, premium experience. Tim, your favorite attraction of all time? Rise of the Resistance. Premium experience. Okay, so keep in mind, the premium experiences are going to be surged price, similar to Uber, and you're only going to be able to do 2 of these experiences per day. You can split that over parks as long as you have a park hopper pass.
And I think that's an incredibly important point, Bob, because the internet naysayers have also been saying that, it's quote unquote pay to win now. People are just going to buy all the spots on the premium attractions. It's 2 per day.
Right. It's 2 per day, and it can be split as long as you have the park hopper option. Both of these, we should mention, as long as you have the park hopper option and you have a reservation for a separate park, you can book separately based on where you are. So that's fine. We don't have any pricing on this. Let's pretend that on an off season, let's say it's January after Martin Luther King Day and after Marathon Weekend. It's a slow week. Let's say Rise of the Resistance is $20 that day. I'm all here. I'm here for that. I'm doing it. Absolutely. If Rise of the Resistance on Easter week goes to 60, which again, these are fake numbers that it may not be, it may be more, maybe less, who knows. I'm probably not paying $240 to ride Rise of the Resistance with my family of 4. I will probably try my best with the virtual queue.
How much? I'm sorry. How much did you say you thought it would be?
No, so what I'm saying is if it was $20, like the week after Martin Luther King Day in January, and I'm there, maybe I do that. $80, you go on the ride, and you're guaranteed a spot on the premier attraction in the world. Let's say Easter week, it's $50 or $60 per person.
I don't think
I'm not saying it will be.
No, I don't know.
It's going to be surge pricing. Uber works that way. Minivan works that way.
At the end of the day, the dirty little secret of the pre-made VIP tours that Disney has sold for years, that is all this was. Like, it was not about you touring behind the scenes and seeing the thing. Disney very clearly advertised which attractions on those tours you were getting on, and those tours directly were priced in perspective to what rides were included for you to skip the line on. So this is just all of that laid bare. And there was plenty of people, including my wife, who before her trip that got canceled due to COVID, for her bachelorette party was planning on doing one of those tours as a way to not have to worry about fast passes for a big group to hit the classic attractions in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I personally think it's going to be between $7 and $15 per person.
It's going to be more than what.
It's definitely going to be
more than what Genie Plus is.
I don't know, because think about it. If you're paying $15 for the entire day and you could use a fast pass on, again, only so many attractions, but you have access. I think if you go the higher end there, 15, maybe 18, I can't see it being more than that personally. I think you could see certain. I mean, these are all these are all top tier rides, so maybe it's not going to be as low as $7, but $10 to $15 is my guess. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I'm thinking it's like that $10 to $15.
Like I said, I think 60 is very high. I don't think that's actually the case. I was using
I got you.
Easter week as an example. It's got to be manageable, and I thought $20 is probably the price point that you're probably the max price point for a ride like Rise of the Resistance, where it's got limited capacity anyway.
I think if we look at the premier access prices in Paris, and those are starting at €9 for the B tier rides that are included in Genie Plus, there is no way that even in the off season you're getting on Rise of the Resistance for less than $15 or $20.
We don't know for sure if there's. I mean, it would make sense. I mean, I would assume I'm on your guys' page that the prices will fluctuate based on season. We don't know that for sure.
No, it is. It's surge pricing.
Does it say that?
It absolutely has said it's based on expected demand.
Pricing for this option will vary by date, attraction, and park, and will be announced closer to launch. Which means they don't even know how much they can charge for this yet.
All I know is if I walk over to an attraction that my whole family wants to go on, and it is 100 degrees outside, the kids are yelling and screaming, and it's a 2-hour wait, you bet your ass I'm going to pay $80 to go on that freaking ride. It's just, I'm not doing it 10 times a day.
That's a fair example. That's an example. Well, you want to do it twice. You want to do it twice.
Correct.
What's your cutoff, though? You said $20 a person. What's your cutoff?
To your point, Rise of the Resistance. I've never been on Rise of the Resistance. I would pay $50 because I know my family might not even care to personally go on it, right? But you're right. I'm not paying.
Okay, but you pay $50. So you pay $200 for your family to go on Rise of the Resistance.
Maybe if it was in the heat of the moment, we couldn't get a ticket. It was our last day. We never went on the ride. Yes, I would not pay $50 a person to go on Seven Dwarf Mine Train.
And hold on, I think Drew just brought up an incredibly important point that applies to Rise of the Resistance, Web Slingers over in Avengers Campus, Ratatouille when it opens up in Epcot. All these rides that have been...
And Guardians.
Well, those have not been confirmed. I'm talking about the rides that are confirmed for Virtual Queue. So Virtual Queue releases a block at 7 a.m. and a block at 1 p.m. And if you don't get in those blocks, you don't get to ride that ride. And there are people I know personally who have gone to Disney and had a great vacation, but the large purpose of their trip was to get on Rise of the Resistance or get on Spider-Man and have not been able to accomplish that. And the best that guest services can do is say, it was in the fine print, there's no guarantee. What this does is that no matter how much it costs, it says, if you are willing to pay this price, then now we can guarantee you get to experience Rise of the Resistance. And honestly, for a not insignificant group of people, that is priceless.
Mm-hmm. So that's our general thoughts on both things.
Yeah.
Good friend of the show and husband to our co-host who just had a baby. So congrats to Guy as well. Asked a very interesting question, and this is how we'll wrap it up. He did want to know, do you think Disney would have been better off replacing FastPass by adopting a higher price point Universal style Express Pass instead of Genie Plus? Before we answer that question, they specifically took that away from Disneyland to put this in place. So I don't know that Disney thinks they would have been better off doing that. He does throw prices at it. Would you rather pay $75 a day for unlimited fast passes or $15 a day to get access to one B-level attraction at a time? Drew, the floor is yours.
I'm sorry. So would I pay $75 for unlimited fast pass or $75.50? I'm reiterating.
So would you pay $75 for Max Pass or whatever the Universal Flash Pass, whatever that is, or Six Flags Flash Pass, or would you rather pay the $15 for one of the time B-level attractions?
I mean, I'm going to Universal in March and I'm paying the $75. So again, I have at the Universal Studios in 10 years, right? Okay. So there's a big difference between not being at a park, maybe ever, right? Like Tim's point, coming from Belgium, I've maybe never
Belgium
been
caught
here.
Off guard, Tim, just so we're clear.
I was naming the countries that have specific travel deals where there's huge portions of people who come at specific times of the year.
I think it depends. If I don't go to Disney for another 5 years, right, and all these new attractions, Bub, you just mentioned, were now open, and $75 was guaranteed. Hey, you know what? I'd like to quote my good old boy, Tommy Boy. You know, because they know you sold them a guarantee is a piece of shit. You know, there never is a guarantee, right? Because if you could guarantee anything, but if the ride breaks down, it's not a guarantee, right?
You know what, Drew? You can take a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking your head up a bull's ass, or you could take the butcher's word for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, great quote there. I agree. No, but I mean, I think I would pay it, but it has to be a certain situation. I'm not paying $75 if I go to Disney World once a year, right? I like, for example, Tim, you go quite a bit. You're not going to pay $75 every single time you go.
No.
But
I'm not going to pay $15 per day.
Yeah, let me rephrase this question. If you were going to Disneyland and you only had 2 days there, would you pay $75?
Absolutely.
So
I mean, Rachel and I were planning on going to Disneyland in November, and we were planning on paying for Max Pass.
That's my point. So I think it's based on that scenario. But that's it. That's how I feel.
But Drew, $75 for unlimited fast passes.
Well, here's my problem with
$75, one fast pass per ride per day.
Yeah,
unlimited fast passes. That's insane. I'm not getting front of the line access. They're never doing that.
Right.
Correct.
And that's my problem with Guy's question, because if Guy had asked his wife, he would know that during peak season, Universal Express Pass is $100. It maxes out in Orlando at $178 per person per day.
Yep.
To use that. So if you're going around Easter, around Thanksgiving, around Christmas, and that is what you want to be able to ride every ride one time each per guest without waiting in line, you are looking at almost $200 per day.
Tim, here's the secret. Just stay at one of their resorts, because I guarantee you the Upbeat Resort is not $800 more a night.
And that has always been the argument, because if you stay at the Portofino, which during those same times is traditionally under $300 a night, 2 adults, you technically now have a free hotel room. And that is my big question with Genie Plus. How is this not hooked into Disney's hotel ecosystem? And what is now the advantage to staying on property at a non-deluxe hotel? And that is a question for another time.
Can't go down that road.
Right, and that is a question for another time.
Anyways, Bob, what else we got before we wrap up this episode?
No, that's it. I mean, basically, final thoughts: Genie Plus and the as yet to be determined, Lightning Lane 2 per. I mean, it's a system that I think we'll have to see how it works out, but its initial understanding, and like Tim said, the press release and the videos weren't great, and I don't know why they would have put that gentleman in charge of doing the video instead of a guy like DeMauro or even Chapek. But yes, rest assured, Bob Chapek is here to ruin your Disney vacation by nickel and diming you for everything. That's his goal in life.
Can I say one Bob Chapek thing? The internet at large, for some reason, there's some weird rumors going around that he's going to be forced to resign and the board is going to remove him. Yeah. Drew, as a stockholder,
let me remind you.
What cause would the board have to remove Chapek?
Let me remind you, listeners, when I told you guys to buy stock. 2020, the stock was at about $90. The stock today is about $180. It's about doubled since Chapek taking office, whatever the hell you want to call it. He ain't going anywhere.
So regardless if you're upset that this is the most egregious thing, that this took all the magic away, that this took your childhood out behind the woodshed and shot it in the face with a shotgun, Bob Chapek has doubled the profit for the shareholders, and as far as the board is concerned, that means he's a successful CEO. He has navigated this company through a global pandemic. He has navigated this company through the parks, resorts, and experience revenue share going from 40% to 22%, and still doubled the price of the stock. So weird internet Reddit people who think that he is secretly no longer in charge of the company, or that he is days away from going away, it's not going to happen. Get used to it. And this was the alternative to drastically raising the ticket price, or build it, because we can't build a 5th gate right now because of COVID. We can't build a 5th gate because of the logistics of what's going on. This was the only choice, people. and this is the future. And that is it.
This is the better option than Fast Pass Plus. Deal with it, America. Drew?
Well, guys, what a fun, long, emotional ride. That's it. Simple as that, folks. So again, that's episode 124. Disney Genie, with news and views, of course. And we want to thank you for staying with us if you made it this far. And as always, thank you for listening to The Disney Guys Uncensored.
Congrats, Jordana and Guy.
After careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park.